Making it to the finals in 2 straight years, the Whitecaps have their sights set high in their final season before joining the MLS. Their first hurdle, their expansion cousins, the Portland Timbers, who the Caps failed to beat all season long. The I-5 rivalry hits high gear. It's the playoffs. It's the Caps and Timbers. It's next on Shaw. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first leg of the first round of the USSF Division II playoffs. Last weekend was the swan song for Swangard Stadium, that of the regular season. The focus now for the Whitecaps, making sure she lives to see another game. It's the 5th-seeded Caps taking on the 4th-seeded Portland Timbers. It's a rematch of that regular season finale, a game that finished in a 2-2 draw. It's a real physical affair. Caps had a 1-0 lead, squandered it, needed a goal in the 68th minute from Cody Arnault in order to earn that draw. This is also a rematch of last year's semifinal. Much like tonight, it began in Vancouver. Caps took a 2-1 lead back to Portland. They made it last en route to the championship final. Portland comes into this game, though, with the leg up on the Caps. They will host that all-important second game on Sunday back in Portland. Also, undefeated against the Caps this season, Vancouver finished with a record of 0-2-2 against the Timbers. For more on this first round matchup, let's check in with the two men who will call this game, Peter Shad and Alan Arrington.
Well, Kristen, so many storylines between these two teams. We'll get to those later, but you touched on a couple of them, and the head-to-head this year has definitely favored the Portland Timbers, and one of the challenges will be scoring goals, Alan, as we look at the two teams going head-to-head this season, and the Whitecaps have had a tough time getting goals, period, but they'll need to get better at that in this series.
Well, they have had a tough time this season with so many different players playing up front, but you know, it's the end of the season, it's the playoffs, anything can happen, and if they peak at the right time, it's a great time to go at the end of the season. It's been done before, and I think they've got the players to do it. The secret is going to be getting the ball wide and getting the ball in the box.
What you need to know is the players who need to step up and be big-time players in this series, and also who needs to be stopped. For the Whitecaps, Terry Dunfield has been excellent since joining the team, and we'll see his goal here in just a second.
Well, as I said last week, he's a box-to-box player. He defends in the 18-yard box, but he gets forward. We'll see the goal he scored there, and his celebrations need a bit of work. He's like a trapeze artist there, falling in the net. But he does work side to side and up front and back, and he's just a good player all around.
Martin Nash is going to play up front in behind Cody Arnault, and it's not a familiar position for Nashy, but he's been very solid in the playoffs and very good against Portland.
Well, I think that could be a good sneaky little move from Tina Torres and that, because Nashy is very aware and very capable with both feet, and if he can get the ball laid back to him from Cody Arnault and get into positions where he can get a strike and goal, look out, because he can score goals.
Let's get the Whitecaps points leader's thoughts heading into this first round. He's standing by with Kristen.
And was the tone for this game set in that regular season finale?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we know they're a talented team, and they can score goals. We just got to be careful defensively, but I think we got to bring the same attitude going forward.
The obvious question is going to get the obvious answer, but how important is it to try to leave Vancouver with a lead?
Yeah, I think it's big. They're a great team, and you don't want to go to their place with their crowd and have to try to win. So I think we're capable of doing it, saying that, but you know, you want to get a lead here and then take it back there and not have so much pressure on you.
That being said, in the first leg, do you want to maybe temper how aggressive you are?
Yeah, I think so. I think the first half might be two teams seeing where each other are at a little bit, and then the second half might be a bit more lively. But you know, we're going to try and take our chances when they come. We know we're going to get some, and at the same time, we want to be a bit better, more solid defensively, and watch them on the counterattack.
Thanks for this. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
And if the Portland Timbers are going to advance beyond the first round, two players to watch closely. Bright DK, the Notre Dame grad, was a handful last week, got one goal, but a big physical forward the Whitecap defenders will have to be aware of.
Yeah, he's a big target man, and he's not afraid to get in behind people either. He's fairly quick, but you see the ball played through here. It's a great little timed run, and he does well to get around the goalie. Not too sure about that finish. That could have gone anywhere, but for him, it's a good one. It's in the top corner.
And then the league's leading scorer and Golden Boot winner, the man who set up that goal, Ryan Poor, and he was kept pretty quiet last week, but I can't imagine he's going to be quiet 2 weeks in a row.
Well, again, it's a good matchup because they played each other last week and they've got an idea what the feeling of each team is. I think he's a good player, and he runs the show from midfield. He can slot people through, he can certainly score goals from midfield, and I think he's the guy they've really got to stop playing.
Proximity, MLS cousins, playoff rivalries, these two teams their wounds run deep, if you will, and we'll have the opening kickoff coming up in just a few moments. Kristen?
We kick off the playoff next to see Caps and Timbers on BMO, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw.
BMO Whitecaps playoff soccer on Shaw from Swangard Stadium. Coolish night, a few sprinkles in the air, and the Mr. Loop starting 11s. First for the Portland Timbers, led by Gavin Wilkinson. Two changes from their game last Saturday. Johan Klaassen checks into central midfield, and Doug DeMartin takes off Ibad Muhammadu up front to line up alongside Bright DK. You see Ryan Poor, the league's leading scorer, lined up wide left. As for the Whitecaps, three changes for Tater Torderson. He'll have Gershon Coffey playing as part of a two-man midfield. He has it as a 4-2-3-1. We can't show it on this graphic, but that's how they have it lined up. Martin Nash will play up front alongside Cody Arnaud, just in behind the youngster. And the Whitecaps hoping to get some goal combination out of their captain. These two teams are going to have a very not faint of heart series, we imagine. Lots of fouls in that game on Saturday, and some sticky ones as well, Alan Arrington.
Well, it's a physical game when these two ever meet. They're always good games. They're both well matched. They're both going into the MLS. So there's a lot in common between the two of them. And I think you got the cream of the crop in this game right here. And it's a shame that one of them is going to go out by Sunday night. Whitecaps at home, I think it's good that they're on grass. I think they prefer playing on grass. And an even better thing is when they play down in Portland, instead of playing on turf at PGE Stadium, I think they're going to be playing on grass at the University of Portland, which could be an advantage for them as well. That's certainly going to be taken into account. But the formation change, let's see how that goes. But again, as I said in the preamble, that Martin Nash certainly can score goals if he gets in and gets the ball around the box. And to get him further up the field, I think could be a smart move.
Matthew Bordeaux is the man in the middle. Kevin DeLiba lines up on the near side. William Nichols is the far side assistant. The Portland Timbers all in forest green kickoff, and James Marceline, the Haitian international, with a poor first touch, but easy to pick out as he's changed his hairstyle from last Saturday with the blonde lid. And the Whitecaps will have an early throw in as they attack the north goal to our left. Peter Shad and Alan Arrington welcoming you to playoff soccer here on Shaw, and we welcome our audience at FSN. And the folks in the Rose City watching in here tonight. As down the line it goes with Blake Wagner. I make that Willis Forco knocking the ball off a set of green legs and out. A smoke bomb in behind the goal to our right going off. That's a no-no. And it's going to linger around by the looks of it. Jay Nolly well out of it. The Whitecaps get their first corner at the other end. And it's going to be Phil Davies to take this, the youngster, playing wide right. This will be an in-swinging ball as Davies right-footed. Smacks it in near post, little kick to the back post, a stab in, and a hit on target in the back of the net! And the Whitecaps have opened early, and with a spectacular goal, Gershon Coffey. And it's 1-0 Whitecaps in the first minute.
Well, what a good delivery from Phil Davies on the corner. He's played it near post, looking for the flick on. They've got the flick on, but it's not from a Vancouver player, it's from a Portland player. Flicked it on back there, comes to Coffey, and he stretches his foot out and sort of flicks it in with his toe there. You see the ball come out. It takes a knock from Bellasomo. He pitched it in with the outside of his foot in the top corner. Terrific start to the game. And it's 1-0. What a goal. In off the crossbar, right in the corner. 1-0 Whitecaps, and they played a minute and a half. Incredible start.
You cannot ask for a better opening than that for the Whitecaps. Off a set piece, Gershon Coffey, his first Swangard goal for the Whitecaps, as Purdy sends it into midfield. Bellasomo nods it into the middle of the park. Wagner sends a left-footed ball down the line. That's going to swerve off and out. Whitecaps in 3 of the last 4 championships. They won 2 of them, lost last year in Montreal. They'll try to make it 4 out of 5. And you brought up an interesting point with the return leg. PGE Park out of commission now with the renovations going on for next year. You mentioned the University of Oregon on a grass pitch, but also a smaller pitch. They won't have the amount of people they had during last year's playoff run, as Ryan Poor tries to latch on the end of that through ball, but it's Jake Nolly.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. But back to today's game, Peter, I think now that the Whitecaps have scored early on, it might change Portland's game plan. They've got to come out and get this back. Portland will not want to lose this game tonight. They will be thinking, and quite rightly so, that they can come in here and get a draw or get a win. They're way on the road to success, because they'll think they're going to win in Portland, and you know they normally do. They're a good side at home. But great start from the Whitecaps, and what it does, it just lends itself to a good game, because now it's game on.
Whitecaps will win a throw.
But the point you made about playing down in Portland with less fans there is quite big, because you go down there and the Portland fans are really some of the best fans in the league, if not North America. They've got a great following, very vocal, very knowledgeable fans in Portland. I love going down there and listening to what they're going on about. They're as closer to an English group of supporters as you'll ever get.
Now Phil Davies with a terrific swerve ball in. Martin Nash heading towards the goal. Davies one step over, left-footed shot, and Steve Cronin smothers that in the Portland goal. And the Whitecaps fans are into it early here in minute number 4, and their home side leading by 1-0. Gershon Coffey in minute number 1. As Cronin thumps it into midfield only as far as Wagner has time to take that down. Thought about switching play, charges through and sends it wide again to Davies, who's been very central early. He set up that corner. Phil Davies overlapping as Wes Knight. Right-footed ball in the box. Arnaud at the back stick. And that's nodded away for a Whitecap throw near side. Willis Forco looks like he's going to take it.
I think that was Blake Wagner at the back stick, and I think what he's done is he's expected the defender to get there. He's really got to make a go for that, and he's in with a good chance to score. That, to me, that counts as a very good chance. He should be getting on the end of that. But again, Phil Davies with the cross in, causing problems.
And it must have taken a touch off a Whitecap last, because it was a Portland throw. Luca Bellisomo will send a right-footed ball into Portland territory. Purdy will just let that bounce out. And Steve Purdy will throw down the line. Little flick on the near side. And away goes the Portland midfielder who scored the first goal, got them back in the game. And he had a tremendous game, I felt, in Portland's midfield. Khalif Al-Hassan. Smith, the Canadian. Right-footed ball up the near touchline. And that's given away to Coffey. But DeMartin, who did not start on Saturday, but gets into Gavin Wilkinson's striker role here in this game, as Bellisomo plays it along the deck for Nash, and he just thumps it off and out. It'll be a Portland throw and in decent territory, 22 yards up from the corner flag.
Difficult ball for Martin Nash to deal with there from Luca. And I think Martin Nash wants him to get that further up the field. It's tough to get balls in midfield that tight when you mark tightly and try and get turned and get forward. You need to get the ball over the top and get the other players turned around.
Purdy will try to hit this long. Klassen moving at the edge of the box. It's played into DK, but that's nodded away by Bellisomo. And Purdy with another opportunity. Throws backwards for Marceline. Put a hand up in the face of Nash, got away with it. Al-Hassan is bundled over by the goal scorer, and it'll be a Portland free kick.
Yeah, Al-Hassan fouled on the play there. Had a terrific game last week, as you say, Peter. I thought he was the little buzz box in midfield and the dynamo, the engine, and he'll be a player to keep tracks on tonight. He's a player that he never stops. He just keeps going and he creates things as well. Good player.
You saw the stats at the opening. The Whitecaps have yet to beat Portland this season. They also had leads at Swangard twice, 1-0 leads, and let those fall. They ended up getting the 1 point as Nash's ball swerves to the edge of the penalty area. And Portland in possession on the far side. Janicki shrugs off that challenge and wins a goal kick out of it.
What a great night for a game tonight. Not too hot. It's beautiful condition, the field as usual at Swangard, but just a nice cool breeze. There's perfect conditions to play.
Greg Janicki switches play for the Whitecap left back. It's Willis Forco who's playing for Zurab Siskaridze. They've moved some players around in that position as Cody Arnaud tries to play the ball in the box. Wagner couldn't get there. Marceline with a nifty turn and a right-footed ball into midfield. Forco nods down. And that ball is off and out for a Portland throw. 7th minute, 1-0 Whitecaps. Short throw for Klassen. Purdy, right-footed ball, pinged forward. Good one, too. Poor was on the trot. And Janicki reached out his foot and prevented that from being a disastrous counterattack. And the Whitecaps will get another goal kick.
And a very, very timely interception there by Janicki, because if he hadn't got his foot up there and blocked that, I think he was clean through on goal, and that could have well been 1-1. But good penetrating passes. Portland looking to get in behind the Whitecaps. Just early on the game, we played about 7.5 minutes, and I still think both teams are trying to feel each other out to see what match up the organisation of each side. The Whitecaps have changed the formation a little bit, and Portland have to try and adjust to that.
Martin Nash has not played up front since he was a member of the Montreal Impact. And Luca Bellisomo gladly turns the ball over about 20 yards up to our right. Boy, the next goal is going to be huge in this series already. And we're only in the 8th minute as DeMartin throws backwards for Purdy. Wagner chasing him down. Purdy got away. DeMartin back up the line, appeals that it went out. And then Wagner will switch play for Davies. Poor will close him down as the Whitecap residency grad finds Nash, and he'll go backwards to Knight. Again, Nash. And there's Al Hassan. Along the deck for DK, who reached 10 goals on the season with the marker here in Vancouver, and DK's down on the deck, and he needs attention, and this would be a disaster for Portland if it's any worse than just a niggle, but he is in pain, and the referee made no hesitation calling the athletic
Well,
therapist
that's the
over.
scary part, Peter, when the referee makes a quick blow up like that. He never called a foul. I don't know whether he just turned his knee and done something there, but the referee's identified that as something quite serious, and just the way he blew his whistle and says, get on here quick, that's not what you really want to see in a game. But I don't think there was any foul in the play. He come off the ball. I think there was a bit of a challenge. I'm not sure if it was Martin Nash. Let's have a look. No, it's Greg Janicki, but
oh, he went over on it.
It looks like he's just had a real twist, and it might his ankle, his knee. Let's see if we can see that again as he comes in.
That left leg bent back. He's up okay now. He'll have to come to the side for the moment. The stretcher's been waved off, and he's hobbling a little bit. They do have some reinforcements up front. Ibad Muhammadu was the player who played alongside DK in the game on Saturday, so hopefully for Portland fans' sake, he'll be okay.
Well, just looking at him just before that, Peter, I was just going to make mention that he looks like he's playing up front as a lone striker, and he's the perfect candidate for that role. He's big, he's strong, he can hold the ball, and you know, he can get in behind the defenders as well. But when you're playing in that way, and that's, you know, it's a good idea to play that way for Gavin Wilkinson away from home. He's going to hold it up. They're playing a bit of a more defensive formation until he gets it. Then they can get up. He's got to hold it and give him support till to get back on the ball. But he's the perfect guy for the job.
Well, Muhammadu is up, warming up, but DK looks to be okay. Obviously flexible as well as big and strong as a target man. Whitecaps winning a deep throw. Forco. Arnaud checks, comes back to the ball. Cody Arnaud, who's brought down, and here's an interesting free kick opportunity for Martin Nash. And you'll recall in Game 2 of the series last year in Portland, Martin Nash from a little closer in than this absolutely hammered one past the Portland goalkeeper, and that was almost the clinching goal there as he smashed home. Let's see if Martin Nash can provide some magic here from the set piece.
Well, Ross Smith a little bit too keen for me on that tackle. You've got to be responsible there. Don't dive in. Don't give free kicks away because they can come back and haunt you. Martin Nash certainly got the tools. Phil Davies on the ball can also hit them as well. But I would think this will be Martin Nash to have an attempt on goal.
Pitch is a little slick as well. The rain is falling, just showers right now, but that ball will skip as 3 Whitecaps, Wagner, Nash, and Davies all positioned there. 5-man Portland wall and 1 runner at the end. Looks like Ian Joy is that runner. The referee wants to calm things down at the edge of the box. Monsieur Bordeaux. It's Phil Davies, has a go, and a good save by Cronin. The rebound is there. Arnaud tried to tuck it back. Down goes Wagner. It's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
What a decision here in minute number 12. The Whitecaps have earned a penalty. They haven't earned a lot here at Swangard Stadium this season. What a chance to double the lead, and you have to fancy Martin Nash to take this.
Well, it's a great free kick from Phil Davies. It works the goalkeeper. He doesn't get it off the field, but it's a penalty. He's took him down there, and it's a little bit of lack of discipline at the back. They've given a free kick away, which has caused the penalty. So the set plays are going to be a key factor in this, but they've got to be, if they score this, the Whitecaps, Portland have got a bit of a hole to dig themselves out of.
After not beating Portland this season, the Whitecaps have a chance to go 2 up inside the first quarter hour of this 2-game total goal home and away series. And it's the captain and leading goal scorer and Golden Boot winner Martin Nash with a chance to do it. Steve Cronin will try to stop him. Nash! And it's in!
Well struck penalty. The goalkeeper's decided he's gone the right way, and he's really got a piece of that. And if he makes a save, it's a terrific save, but Nash has hit it so well, so powerful. No matter where you are, you're not going to get to that. Good penalty kick, 2-0 Whitecaps. And wow, this is a bit of a turn up for the books. Who'd have expected this at this stage of the game? Portland, very, very good side. And they're not over yet by a long chalk, Peter. They'll be back. I'm sure there's more to come from Portland yet.
Oh, great guess by Cronin. He got his fingertips to it, but only off the post and in. 2 set plays leading to the goals. A free kick that caused some confusion. Blake Wagner went over on Al Hassan's tackle. Martin Nash tucks it away after Gershon Coffey had scored on a Whitecap corner. And here they come again, a sliding tackle through, and it's off and out to our left. And what a hole for Gavin Wilkinson now to dig his team out of here. And the referee wants the player to back up.
Well, the Whitecaps are 2 up, and what they need to do now is not just sit back and defend, but they need to be steady. They don't need to give any goals away. If they can keep this till half-time, I think they're in a terrific position. They need to consolidate themselves, get organised, and just stop Portland from playing. Portland on the other side, they've got to take a few chances now. They've got to get forward. They've got to try and push people forward, which might leave gaps at the back.
The referee gave the Whitecaps the throw-in after Steve Purdy tried to get too many yards up the line. He was warned the first time, and so Willis Forco will take the throw.
That's a foul throw.
Marceline straight to Coffey, the opening goal scorer. Spreads it wide right. Phil Davies couldn't get there, but Wes Knight is following up. Not quite as many members of the Timbers Army have made this trip down here. There was a huge contingent here last Saturday, and you know there will be on Sunday as well. Nash knocks it forward. Davies on the chase. Taking on Ian Joy, got a touch, and it'll be a free kick for the Timbers, unless that ball went out.
I think it might be a high foot from Phil Davies there. The free kick is a decision.
Quarter of an hour gone. Whitecaps 2, Portland Timbers 0. BMO Whitecaps playoff soccer on Shaw. And playoff experience sure counts for something, and there are quite a few members of this team that will remember what it was like to get to that final and have Martin Nash sent off early and then have another sending off in the return leg.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at tonight's game again though, Peter, before the game everybody's saying, well, have the Whitecaps got enough people to score goals? Scoring goals has been a problem this season. Well, they've stepped up and answered the critics. They've scored 2 in the first 15 minutes.
We said the next goal was big at 1-0. The next goal at 2-0 is massive. And if the Whitecaps get it, you could almost say lights out.
Well, I think if I was the Portland manager, I'd be saying, listen, boys, let's be disciplined. No more fouls in front of the box, you know, because that's what's causing the problems. Free kicks, corner kicks, set plays. Don't give them a chance. Let's keep the ball, keep it on the field, and let's play way out of trouble, because set plays, you tell players all the time, you must practice set plays, get the delivery right, and be organised, expect the ball and all that sort of stuff. But they do win games. They win and lose games, and 2 set plays tonight have got the Whitecaps off to a great start.
Blake Wagner nearly kept that ball in. Portland Timbers a bit shell-shocked here. Down 2-0 at Swangard as it's into Whitecap territory, and Willis Forco with a shove on the back from the Liberian international. And Portland will have a free kick from just inside Whitecap territory, and it's Steve Purdy standing off the ball.
Good calling is not. We don't do that. Seriously.
Big number 25 from Morgan Hill, California, member of FC Dallas's club, will now defer to Stephen Keel, who's from Littleton, Colorado, member of the Colorado Rapids squad, at least the reserve side. Littleton is where Jay Nolly, the Whitecaps goalkeeper, was born. Big clump of players at the edge of the 18-yard box. Blake Wagner asked to back off. Keel, right-footed ball, decent ball, teasing ball into the box. Right off Greg Janicki and out. It'll be a Portland Timbers corner.
And that's a danger. Good ball in there, and a lot of traffic in the box. No chance for Jay Nolly to come out and try and get a piece of that. He's got to stay home and let the defenders deal with it. But there's always uncertainty when you get that. You get little knockdowns, and you know there's so many people in the box that can go anywhere. So always a danger when you get the ball crossed in.
Left-footed delivery coming from the far side now. The Timbers try to answer. Nash, first man there to nod it clear. Al Hassan on the end of this, the man who conceded the penalty. And Al Hassan with a thumping challenge from Cody Arnaud, shoulder to shoulder. Obviously a free kick, but Al Hassan remains down.
I don't know so much about that. I mean, it's a fair shoulder charge if the ball's within playing distance, and Cody Arnaud has gone in and given a bit of a nudge with the shoulder. I think it's a fair shoulder charge, but again, I don't know if we'll see a replay. If the ball is not within playing distance, then it's a foul. The referee's a bit closer than I am. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and he's given the free kick.
Joy, and that's going into the hands of Jay Nolly with pressure on him, but he kept his cool. Purdy was right in his face, and the Whitecap goalkeeper, who's on quite a streak right now in terms of game played, got a favorable bounce, and away goes Blake Wagner. He plans an early ball to the top of the box. Nash with a little flick. There's Davies at the back stick. Phil Davies will play backwards to Wes Knight. Coffey. Willis Forco. Left-footed through ball looking for Arnaud. Good first touch, maybe a little heavy, and it's off and out.
What I've noticed tonight, Peter, the Whitecaps have played a lot more balls into feet than they have over the top, and I think it's causing some problems for the Portland defenders, having to come off and try and mark those players tight and keep them going back over.
Coffey's been impressive in the early stages here. He was serving a suspension and wasn't able to play last Saturday between these two teams. Purdy, Clausen short. And DK surrounded, wins the free kick.
And Lucabella so much, just a little bit tight there on DK, and he's been caught pushing in the back a little bit. It's one good thing to be tight and mark up, but when you're too tight, I think it's easy to give free kicks away. And this is where we had a problem before with Portland. Good delivery in, it's causing problems in the box. And again, another set play could cause problems for the Whitecaps this time.
Ryan Poor from the soccer hotbed of Mansfield, Ohio. And the league's leading scorer standing off this one. Right for the ball, pinged into the near post and hammered away. Wagner will try to keep it in, but only does so for Poor as two 23s battle one another. Joy, left-footed ball diagonal into Whitecap territory, but that's knotted down by Knight. And Phil Davies will head over to keep that ball in play and charge forward. Inside for Nash. Covered by Marceline. And then an early ball looking for Arnaud, won by Keel. Following up is Nash. Haven't noticed Terry Dunfield a whole lot, but there's his touch that gets into the hands of Cronin.
Again, Peter, I think the players are trying to sort out where they belong on the field with the new formation they've got. And it looks like there's a 4-3-2-1 with Dunfield playing a little bit more of a defensive, deeper role than what he'd probably like to do. But he's just finding his way and where he should be.
Marceline with a picking hit, and it swerves wide of the near post as he put his head down and thumped it after Gershon Coffey felt he was fouled, charging forward. And Marceline swerved that one wide of the right upright.
Well, he's got a lot of room to hit this. There's nobody closing him down there. There's got to be pressure on the ball, otherwise players are going to have shot. Jay Nolly's had it covered all the way, but really that has to be closed down. You can't give players that much room in that time and space.
Minute 21, Whitecaps 2, Portland Timbers 0 from Swangard Stadium in Burnaby, British Columbia. Peter Shadd and Alan Arrington, happy to have you along on Shaw here in Vancouver and FSN in Oregon. As the ball is knocked forward, flicked on beautifully there by DeMartin. DK will win a handball, and a free kick at the edge of the box. Could be a yellow card here as well.
And it is a yellow card. Greg Janicki, I think he just misjudged that one. It's bounced up, and it's not like it's hit him on the arm. I think the referee's quite correct. Kevin DeLieber on the sideline, I think he raised his flag as well. It's a deliberate handball and a yellow card.
Well, the urgency level has been ratcheted up a notch here by Portland. They really need to get a goal and back in this game soon before the shoulders start to drop.
You see the replay there, and it's a deliberate handball, and the flag's up. You saw Kevin DeLieber's flag waving there. The referee's behind and seen it. Good refereeing, good officiating all round.
Ian Joy is standing off of this. So is Ryan Poor, obviously. Johan Clausen as well. But my guess is Poor.
Well, this is a third free kick in the similar area for Portland Timbers.
Ryan Poor through the wall and around the other side for a goal kick in minute number 22. And a few sighs of relief from the Swangard grandstand.
Well, I think Ryan Poe would like to have that one again. He's trying to curl it round the wall and hit the bottom post. I always tell my young lads, try and keep it low. You've always got a chance of it going in. Most free kicks go over the bar. He's done well keeping it low, but he's just a little bit off track. Didn't get the curve on it he wanted. Behind for the goal kick.
Whitecaps will win a throw outside the Portland technical area. That's Blake Wagner, the Tampa native. You'll leave it for Willis Forco.
You've got to wonder what Portland might do if they go into half-time. Will they change the formation with the one player up front that they're playing? Will they push somebody else on and maybe cause some more gaps at the back? Gavin Wilkinson's a very experienced coach. I'm sure he'll have some ideas to try and reorganize and get them back on track.
Great pressure up front there by the Whitecaps, but Portland does manage to get it through midfield. And that's thumped away by Janicki, the man who was just booked. Keel will hammer it back forward again. Flag from Kevin DeLieber goes up on the near side, and the Whitecaps will have it just inside their own half.
Two strikers a little bit lazy there, not getting back in front of the centre-backs. And if the ball's played forward, even when they get there, it looks like they're onside because the centre-backs have dropped off. But they've got to get back in front of the centre-backs early and keep them honest.
Janicki will float a right-footed ball towards Davies. A little flick down there from the youngster. And Portland will win possession on the far side. We've reached the midway point of the first half. And the surprise scoreline. We would have thought this might be a tight series all the way through, coming down to a goal. Doesn't look that way at the moment, but boy, can things change in a hurry in any playoff series.
Well, I think you said it before, Peter, the next goal is critical, and it was. It's 2-0 for the Whitecaps. But I think now the next goal is critical, because if Portland can drag their way back into the game and get a goal, I think they've got a bit of a chance, and there's a bit of a, there's a bit of rah-rah there and get them going again. If the Whitecaps get the third goal, I think it's game over for this one, and the Portland Timbers will have to regroup and get themselves fixed up in Portland. But the game's got a long way to go yet, and a lot of good football to be played yet.
Ross Smith. Hearing it from Gavin Wilkinson at the moment. I'm not sure if it was him individually, but the Portland gaffer was having a couple of words. Davies, first touch got him around one. Now it's a foot race, but Stephen Keel's going to get over there. Plays it right off of Davies. Took a second touch, and Davies will get possession back. No quick throws on that occasion. Wes Knight will step forward and maybe have a longer throw.
And for his young years, Phil Davies being smart, and they've actually pinched a few yards on that, but he's just slowed the game down, let the Whitecaps get organised rather than take a quick one.
Dunfield. Headed away by Joy. Keel tried to get around on Arnaud, and the Whitecaps will win a throw, and this is a little bit closer to Wes Knight territory here. And a few Timbers Army members that have made the trip are in that location. Just to the right of Wes Knight. He goes short on this occasion. Dunfield. Janicki closed down quickly. Finds Knight again. Ooh, left his ball a little bit short for Janicki, and the Whitecaps are fortunate they didn't get caught on the break there. Ryan Poor gave it away to Dunfield. Davies. Oh, he's badly taken down, and Ian Joy could be in big trouble here. And Davies is hurt and in real rough shape. It's a yellow card for Joy, but it could have been a lot worse. He went sliding in recklessly there.
I think he's hurt him. This could be a really bad injury there. I thought he's gone in really late. If he's got a yellow card there, he can count himself lucky. That to me is a red card. You see Phil Davies, he's got the ball there. That is a late tackle, and it's caught him on the shin.
So 2 players in the referee's notebook, and it looks even worse from there.
That's a red card. That's a straight red for me.
And the Portland Timbers are very lucky, because a red card here might have done them in entirely in the series. Phil Davies is still struggling, and
you look at that again there, Peter, and I don't think Phil Davies is a player that's got his head down and doesn't know what's going on. He's got his head up and he sees what's coming on, and I think it's just such a late tackle. You won't expect that.
Whitecaps will carry on with 10 men. They take the free kick. Martin Nash, right-footed ball into the penalty area, and a little too long for Arnaud, and that is off and out for a goal kick. And we'll wait and see what Tater Torderson does here. He wants word from the touchline before he sends Phil Davies
well,
up.
A good sign, Peter. He's on his feet, and he's. When you see him go down that bad and you hear him screaming like that, you think, oh, he's broke his leg. But he's okay. He seems to be. It's just a knock. It's a kick. He's going to be a bit of pain, but as long as it's not a twist or a break, I think you're all right. But what a bad tackle that was, and the referee's got to clamp down on that.
Kyle Porter waiting in the wings. He had an impressive game against Portland on Saturday, serving up the tying goal for Cody Arnaud. So he's one option if Phil Davies wasn't able to continue. In the meantime, Portland has possession back. Coffey into midfield. Arnaud chasing there, but Smith was in first. Marceline with a little turn at midfield finds Purdy. And Wagner did well to get the ball back and keep it in play. Gave it right back again. Purdy couldn't get around Kofi, but it's a delayed reaction.
Quite right. The referee's quite right there. Blake Wagner's fouled him, and he's played the advantage if he can, and it's no advantage, so he's quite correctly called the free kick. Good bit of refereeing.
Portland have had a few set pieces from out here. And again, it's Ryan Poor with just Cody Arnaud in the way. And red jersey streaming forward to the edge of the Whitecap penalty area. Poor again, and that's easily nodded away. Al Hassan on his right foot. Little floated ball through, but too long and too far.
And that's not the best ball in again by Poor today. He's got to get it past the first defenders to give his players a chance to get something on the end of that. Disappointing when you get a free kick in there and you're lined up. Centre-backs run 60 yards to get in the box and they play the ball short in front of the centre-backs and the other team and they head it out. Very, very frustrating.
28th minute, Whitecaps with the 2-goal lead. Peter Shadd and Alan Arrington, happy to have you along here from Swan Guard as Blake Wagner comes down with it, sends it through for Nash. Little ball played inside, but good defending by Ross Smith. Keel is there, can't keep it in play. And more possession for the Whitecaps where they want it in the front third. Arnaud again couldn't turn the corner.
Poor touch there from Cody Arnaud. I think he knows that. I think he's thinking the centre-back's a bit tighter there and he's trying to spin him and get away, but I think the centre-back was just a little bit further away than he expected.
Tater Torderson also has the luxury of bringing on Davide Cumiento as the Whitecaps are called for a foul, so they can bring him on in the late stages. Ethan Gage, Alex Morfaw, Moluda Klul, and Zurab Siskaridze also on the bench for the Whitecaps. Simon Thomas is the backup goalkeeper. Matt Pizdrowski is the backup to Steve Cronin. They have Cuevas Kirk, Rodrigo Lopez, Tony McManus, Ibad Muhammadu, Takayuki Suzuki, and Kevin Goldthwaite for Gavin Wilkinson. And we'll see if they factor in an hour or so. Marceline, good tackle by Dunfield, all ball there. Davies, who looks to be okay. Away goes Arnaud, couldn't find the ball in his feet. Keel plays it wide for Joy, the man on that yellow card. In comes Nash with a late tackle, no foul there. Dunfield finds the feet of Davies and Nash pokes it forward. Smith races back. Arnaud will shield it off, and now West Knight should be able to launch one into the Portland penalty area.
Well, the game's played at a very fast pace tonight. Both teams not messing about. They're really getting at the ball and passing it quickly. It's good entertainment, actually. They're two good teams. I still think there's more goals in this game yet.
West Knight trying to produce a specialty here. It's a decent throw, little flick back, and Keel was there after the flick from Poor. West Knight goes in, and does he win a foul? He doesn't. It's a goal kick. And while we have a moment, let's check in with the PlayNow.com coach's comments as Kristen Reed standing by with a pleased Tater Torderson.
Coach, you couldn't have scripted a much better start to this game.
It was, yeah. It was. It's a great start. So I hope we can continue like this.
What's the mix between defending this lead and continuing to attack?
Well, I don't want us to be too careful now. You know, if we can manage to keep the control at the back and still get these good breaks of them, then I hope we can even score more goals.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Peter?
Al Hassan finds Purdy, but that's stolen away by Wagner, who knocks it off his opponent's legs and out. And I think Tater Torderson even looked a little surprised there, Alan.
Well, I think he looks happy, that's one thing, but I think he's absolutely correct in what he's saying is they don't want to change the way they play. They sit back and try and defend the lead. It's a long time to defend a 2-0 lead. And again, if the Portland Timbers get one goal back, they get their tails up, they're coming back at the Whitecaps. So I think they've got to, keep playing. And the saying I've got is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it isn't broke, you're up 2-0, keep playing the same way.
And Terry Dunfield tried to get on with it, and the referee calls it back. Minute 31. And Bellesomme will stand off this now. And now he'll leave it for the Dunbar boy who went off to Manchester City at the age of 14 and was signed by Whitecap great Alan Ball at Man City, Main Road, and is now back in the city where he was born and raised. As Bellesomme in the end takes the free kick, Joy nods it ahead. Poor on the chase will keep it in play on the far side. And then Joy does well to hammer it up the touchline. Good win there, though, by West Knight. Martin Nash sliding in. Phil Davies also for the slide. This is a very well-contested match here as players are sliding all over the place. And West Knight, again, standing off this one. Davies ahead of him. Played into the feet of Arnaud, who came back well. Dunfield on the deck for Nash. Nice little flick inside. Cody Arnaud onto his right, onto his left. Cody Arnaud with a shot that's charged down beautifully by Smith. And then Marceline finds Clausen, dispossessed there by Kofi. And then down goes Clausen. Marceline comes away with it, and he pokes it along the deck for Al Hassan. Breaking into the Whitecaps half of the field. DK couldn't corral it, and Wagner will start back. Ball played in behind Arnaud, and he's not going to get there, and that's a cheap change of possession.
Yeah, just a little lack of communication between Arnaud and Blake Wagner there. They've got their signals crossed a bit. Need to keep possession there.
Good run by DK. Trying to get around the corner on Belisomo with a sliding tackle. Belisomo claiming it might have been a goal kick, but it is a corner.
And a good tackle from Luca Belisomo there. Really, here's some of the challenges going in there. And there's been a few heavy challenges, but really only the one bad one for me against Phil Davies. Some of them, you know, they look a bit clumsy, but the one against Phil Davies to me is a real bad one.
So the corner is from the near side. And once again, it'll be Joy who will take this left-footed. 34th minute. Joy swings it into the box. Out comes Nolly. Got a fist to it. Got bundled over. DeMartin. Ryan Poor. Right-footed ball charged down beautifully and then hammered away as Forco was playing at the right of the back there. Al Hassan on this. And Al Hassan plays it into Marceline. That runs past everybody. And Luca Belisomo may just let it run.
And have just made it off the field for a goal kick. And again, the Whitecaps quite content to sit back a little bit, and that could be a bit of a danger. But I think they've been quite steady, quite solid. Terry Dunfield sitting deeper, and Forco playing a bit deeper. Well, Forco's playing at fullback. It's Coffey playing a bit deeper as well. They're playing like a two holding role in the middle of midfield.
DeMartin and Clausen. Al Hassan. Portland would absolutely love to get a goal before the interval. As Marceline plays in Joy, left-footed ball up the line. Not stolen. Another appeal for a foul there by Davies, or by Dunfield, I should say. Joy trying to find Clausen. Greg Janicki will try to win the throw, but instead gives possession over.
Well, they've done well at the back, the Whitecaps, playing things simple.
DK with a good turn and a hit. And straight out as DK wriggled free, got himself some room at the edge of the box, but put it wide near post.
Well, he's certainly a handful. DK isn't everything that gets the ball. He causes some problems. I'm just crediting the Whitecaps doing well. They've played things simple at the back. They've not tried to overindulge and play the way and pass the way when it's not on. They've knocked it out when they needed to. But DK there, creating his own space, creating his own chances. He turns very quick for a big man, and he's always looking to get a strike, isn't he?
10 minutes till halftime. A first-minute goal by Gershon Coffey off a Whitecap corner, and then Blake Wagner brought down in minute 12, and Martin Nash converted the penalty. That's the difference between these two teams. Good stretch there by Coffey, who's been impressive here. Dunfield will ball into Nash, and a nice ball played wide. Can Wagner get there? He can't do it against the longer legs of Steve Purdy. Good slide and effort, though, by Wagner. And
good defending.
Gavin Wilkinson
is
furious.
And what he's saying is, and he's quite right, is the defender should be dropping into a deep, wider position to support the guy who's on the ball under pressure. And I think the lack of movement off the ball by the Portland defence is causing them problems. They're just watching the player who's on the ball and leaving him under pressure. They need to support him more and give him a few options to pass the ball.
Slick Whitecap pitch claiming some victims here, and Whitecap fans upset that Steve Purdy stole another 5 yards on the throw-in. Arnaud, Davies, West Knight. Janicki into the feet of Nash. Dunfield, square ball for Coffey. Wagner wants it wide left. It comes to the feet of Forco. Into Nash. And the Whitecaps with some great possession here, and a little through ball is not going to find Arnaud. It will find Steve Cronin, the Portland goalkeeper. Fair Oaks, Californian. Santa Clara grad. But a Portland Timber, and hoping to be again next year when these two teams head to a bigger stage with bigger stakes. But the rivalry will be the same.
The other Santa Clara grad involved with the Whitecaps is Steve Nash. He played basketball at Santa Clara. Great school, beautiful place. Went and watched him play there once with the Olympic team when we were down there in San Jose with Martin playing on the team. And Steve Nash absolutely ran the show and scored about 40 points that night. Fantastic place.
Steve Nash was here last night playing for Phoenix at Rogers Arena against Toronto Raptors. Here to see Martin, and of course he's the part owner of the Whitecaps. They also welcomed a new addition to the family, Manny Malhotra, who's a Vancouver Canuck, is their brother-in-law, and he and Joanna just welcomed a baby into the world. So very happy times in the Nash family. Minute number 38. And West Knight ticking some seconds off the clock. And the referee wants him to get on with it. Again, Arnaud beaten to it by Keel. Al Hassan turned by Coffey. A little through ball finds Steve Purdy in some space here wide right. Taking on his man Forco, gets around the corner, ball played in. A long outstretched leg of Luca Bellisomo sends it off for a corner.
And a good little run down the line there and a good cross in really, and it needed good defending in the box. I think Forco's just got done a little bit for speed there, and it's a concern that. Got to block those crosses. The more crosses they get in, the more danger they have.
Joy again will come over and take this. And I think they want Ryan Poor hovering somewhere around the top of the penalty area. This would be a great time for Portland to get on the board as a left-footed ball whipped into the box, and Gene Ollie grabbing it at his fingertips, pulling it down from under the crossbar. Good hands from the steady Whitecap keeper.
Well, it's times like that you need your goalkeeper to show up and just come out and take the sting out of the game a little bit, and he's certainly done that, Jane Ollie. It looks easy to do that, and he does it every day in training, no doubt, but when there's a lot of pressure on you and it's a big game, you need to really keep your concentration. He's done a great job there, and again, he's just took the sting out of the Portland attack by diffusing the situation and holding the ball.
Ross Smith knocking that ball out. Mentioned he's a Canadian from Milton, Ontario. There's another great defender right there, and Gavin Wilkinson, the Kiwi, who had Cameron Knowles, a fellow Kiwi in this squad for the longest time. But Portland also going through a bit of a renaissance here with MLS looming. They wanted to look at some younger players in their preparations. But he'll expect a lot from the men at the back as Arnaud comes to, leaves it for Forco. Little through ball looking for Nash. Off his chest, did well. Beautiful little layoff. Here's Blake Wagner. Left-footed ball into the box. Well defended by Marceline, then cleared into midfield. DK will try to hold it up, but it's off and out.
Good cover from Luca Bellisomo there, just seeing the ball off the field. And there's something you don't normally see as a centre back looking to take a throw in. Get off that and leave it to the full-back would be my instructions.
Little flick from Marceline. He'll follow up. Had it taken away by Blake Wagner. Square ball to Arnaud. Davies cutting in. Little layoff for Terry Dunfield. He's found some room. Dunfield off the post. Oh my goodness, would that have been something? Terry Dunfield looking for 2 goals in 2 games. Terrifically crafted build-up though.
Well, he's just saved himself an injury there, because if he scored that one, he might have jumped over the fence and injured himself. Unlucky there, Terry Dunfield. Great late run to get in the box. Terrific late run, lost his man, got in there, and he's played it first time outside of the foot, and he hit the post. Very, very unfortunate. Great run, unlucky son.
Cronin in minute 41.
Here we see that, and it's a poor touch. Blake Wagner does very well there, and a good ball there. Arnaud sets him up. It's a great little run. Look at this. And it's the outside of his left foot, and he's hit the post. He's trying to curl that round and in there, and he's just a little bit off, but what a great chance. That could have been game over right there.
Again, Coffey shifty in the midfield and athletic, and now the break is on for the Whitecaps again. Through ball, and can Phil Davies catch up to this? He can. Arnaud's breaking into the channel. Phil Davies into the box, and out comes Smith to save the blushes of his goalkeeper. And Arnaud acknowledges the ball across a late corner for the Whitecaps.
Well, Portland's in disarray at the back, aren't they? They're getting caught, they're pushing forward a little bit, but Phil Davies done well there. He's attacked the right space, he's played it in at the right time, and another good chance. I mean, the Whitecaps are flying here right now, and I think Portland will be happy to see half-time and trying to get themselves reorganised.
Well, they are bending at the moment. The Whitecaps would like to see them break, and if they could do it before the interval and add a 3rd goal, you'd have to wonder how the Timbers would manage to come back. Cody Arnaud has been strong so far in this game. He's had a couple of touches that haven't been his best, but he is getting more and more fit as every minute ticks by. And Phil Davies will take from the near side. Can they conjure up another goal before halftime? Whipped in, cleared by Joy, only as far as Wagner. Gets it to his outside, and a good header down. Look out. Here comes Ryan Poor on the trot with pace. 2 teammates with him, 3v3. Poor going right at Forco, and Forco managed to just shield him off. Marceline will get the pieces in midfield and play in Steve Purdy. Right-footed ball hovering to the edge of the penalty area, nodded away, and Al Hassan is there to take over. He tried to play it along the deck. Down goes Klassen, and he's given the foul away.
Yeah, another set play here. We've got, is it Greg Janicki?
It's actually on Klassen.
Oh, really? I thought it was the other way there. Well done, Mr. Referee. The Whitecaps are loving you right now. I thought it was the other way, to be quite honest. But the referee's closer than we are.
You worry when Poor breaks like that. And they had 3 men charging forward. 3v3 looked promising for a moment.
Well, he's such a good player running with the ball, and he's very comfortable on the ball. But what they did was they all ran in together and limited their own space. He needed to take that ball wider, or the other 2 players running alongside it need to change their runs and get away from a bit and create some space rather than dragging the defenders in tighter. And they all closed it in. It made it easier for the defenders to defend. They've got to get away and drag people out of there and create some space.
Nash's little touch through. Away goes Arnaud again into the box. Cody Arnaud pushed over. No, he's waved it off, and play continues. And there's another push. Well, that was very close. I'd love to see that again. And if it weren't for the penalty earlier, I'm not sure if that was clear cut. Let's have a look. As Cody Arnaud between the 2 defenders, he took it out.
He's made contact with the ball, and Arnaud's gone down. But referee again, quite right. As normally all the referees are pretty good at this level. But I've seen him given for worse than that, but I think he's got contact on the ball and Arnaud's gone down.
DK is now down again as Tater Torderson looks on. He will be with the Whitecaps at the helm next year. Gavin Wilkinson will be upstairs at PGE Park as John Spencer takes over the coaching duties. Ball whipped in, straight up in the air off Janicki. Still deep in Whitecap territory from Knight. Composed chest down by Dunfield, and well done to get it to West Knight as we reach the last 90 seconds of this first half. Good climb there by Davies, and then Marceline will switch play. Forco with a header down, and Wagner will thump it clear. The wide midfielders are doing a good job of dropping back and helping out, and then they break very quickly as the ball is played wide for Steve Purdy. Blake Wagner has done a ton of running here in the first 45. Al Hassan steps around the skipper Nash, who was awarded the Golden Boot prior to kickoff. Picks out Stephen Keel. And then Ian Joy on a yellow card comes inside to Marceline. The Whitecaps might be wise to try to take on Ian Joy at left back and see if they could concoct another yellow card out of him by getting around him. As Smith sends a ball into the head of Terry Dunfield. Did well to touch it down for to Wagner, who had a little bit of room for the moment, but Al Hassan did well to close that room and take it away. As he sends a right-footed ball into Whitecap territory, the flag goes up on Ryan Poor, who seems to be pushed up a little farther right now.
Yeah, I think he's pushed on and gambled a bit just before the half. See if he can salvage something before half-time and give him a bit of hope.
We'll just wait to see how much stoppage time is added on. Our 4th official, Paul Ward, will hold it up as the ball is again played through, but that's too long. 2 minutes. And we're into that now. Stoppage time, first half. Whitecaps with a 2-goal lead on 2 goals inside the first quarter hour. Coffey and Nash from the penalty spot. Purdy. Joy. Left-footed diagonal ball near side for DK. Closed down by Forco, who slipped. And then a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge from Wagner, and the Whitecaps are going to concede a free kick. And then Wagner went down in front of DK.
Well, the referee's trying to keep a lid on this. I think there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on. Wagner's gone in a bit strong, give the free kick away, and I think DK might have retaliated a little bit there. But I think the referee's trying to keep some common sense and not flash cards around. That's good to see. We want to see 11 players on the field at the end of the game and not be getting sent off for silly yellow cards accumulating.
Well, the Whitecaps conceded a goal in the first minute of the second half on Saturday. They'll try not to concede a goal in the last minute of the first half here as it's knotted away. A little bit of space for Wagner. He'll go backwards to Forco on his left foot. And Forco plays it into the feet of Arnaud. Davies is wide open on that right flank. But Portland gets possession back through Steve Purdy. Closed down by Wagner again. Al Hassan shimmy and shaking up the line and will actually commit the foul on Kofi. And Kofi will get the free kick.
Well, all this has come about because of another poor free kick into the box. Never cleared the first defender. Whitecaps cleared it fairly easily. And they've had 3 or 4 tonight, Portland, where they've had chances to get it in the box. But they've not got to pass the first defender, so the delivery's not been the best.
Forco thumping it long again. Smith will head it down, and Purdy will keep it in. Straight off the legs of Wagner. And there's the, well, I thought that was the halftime whistle, but there's one more piece of action to take care of. We are 2 minutes in. Stoppage time. Steve Cronin to take this free kick. Up goes Bellisomo, won the header. Good support from Dunfield, and there's the halftime whistle. And they'll get a rousing ovation here at Swangard Stadium as the Whitecaps go to the tunnel with a commanding 2-goal lead. Almost made it 3 when Terry Dunfield hit the far post with his left foot. And at the half, it's the Whitecaps 2, Portland Timbers 0.
Well, it's as good a half as we've seen this season from the Whitecaps. And I thought they were quite, they've done well. They deserve to be 2 up. They've took the goals well. They've sat and defended when they've had to, and they've really kept Portland down to a few free kicks that have not got past the first defender. So good half from the Whitecaps. I'm sure Portland will be getting some words of wisdom from Gavin Wilkinson at half-time, and we might see a bit of a different team coming out and maybe a different formation to try and match up the Whitecaps and get something out of it.
Our halftime interview brought to you by Park and Fly features Whitecap right fullback Wes Knight standing by with Kristen.
Thank you, Pierre. Wes, if you had put this on paper before the game, would you have gone so far as to say you'd have a 2-0 lead at halftime?
Absolutely not. That's what we wanted, but realistically, we wouldn't have thought so. And a goal in the first 2 minutes, absolutely class. And we came out and did exactly what the pregame ritual was to come out and jump on them, and we did it, and we're happy with that.
How much does it change the game plan when you attack that early?
It does. It changes everything. You know, when you go out and you grab the initiative in the game and you take it to your advantage, it really is. It changes everything, and I don't think Portland was really expecting us to come in and pounce on them like that.
Tater said, though, he wants to make sure this team doesn't play too careful. Is that going to be the game plan in the second half?
Yeah, we can't become complacent. You know, we can't try to sit in and defend, because that's when they're going to mount attacks and keep coming at us and bring numbers forward. So we have to keep coming at them with intensity and maybe score 2 more.
Good luck. Thanks for this.
Thank you, Kristen.
Voted the fan favorite. You can see why West Knight of the Whitecaps, as they have a 2-0 lead at halftime. Stay with us. Let's take a peek at the MLS franchises coming for both Vancouver and Portland. You're watching BMO, Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw.
Welcome back to BMO Whitecaps playoff soccer on Shaw. Portland actually had more goal attempts than the Whitecaps, 5-4, but nothing of the really dangerous variety, Alan Arrington.
No, I think the chances they had come mostly from free kicks, trying to get the ball in the box, and I thought the free kicks were pretty poor. Here's a chance. You see he's got a lot of space there to get a shot in, and he's missed the target. But here, free kick wide. It's a missed opportunity. Corner kick coming here, and Jay Nolly just does well to get a finger on that and get it away. And again, allowed to turn there, getting a shot on goal, but it's wide. So they've had half chances, but really nothing that's any danger, nothing that's worried the Whitecaps. And they're going in really with a comfortable 2-0 lead at half-time.
Gavin Wilkinson probably tore a strip off the Swangard change room walls as the Whitecaps get set to kick off and attack their favored south side here in the second half. 2 substitutions to bring up, and they're brought to you by Energy Max. The Whitecaps have brought on Ethan Gage to play at right back for Willis Forco, and Johan Klaassen has been swapped in favor of Rodrigo Lopez. So Klaassen out and Lopez in, Ethan Gage in, and Willis Forco out. Peter Shadd and Alan Arrington welcome you back to Swangard Stadium as the smoke drifts around to our right as it's thrown into Portland territory, flicked off and out. And I wonder if the Timbers have made another substitution here, if Goldthwait is also on. Indeed he is, and I think it might be Smith who was sacrificed. So Kevin Goldthwait into the match wearing number 33, and I believe it's Smith who's out as West Knight launches another long throw into the box, flick back to the top of the area, and away goes DeMartin on the trot. He's got DK to his right. DeMartin with some good pace, closed down by Coffey, now leaves for DK, cuts inside of Coffey. Portland would love an early start here, and DK gets around 1 then 2 and drifts his shot into the VIP section to our left.
Well, he's swerving and trying to get past players to get a shot away there. Again, he's got the shot away, but it's nowhere near the target. But he's always a danger, he's always a threat. Every time he gets the ball, he's the lone striker, he's on his own. He's got a lot of work to do to try and hold it up and play that role up front. It's a very difficult role to play, but he's certainly a handful and a danger, and the Whitecaps are going to have to be on their toes just to make sure that he doesn't get shots in. But up to now, the defending's been up for the task.
Goldthwait getting a good solid header in as he replaced Ross Smith. Ball poked back to Cronin, bouncing ball that he has to volley away. Knotted down by Bellisomo, only as far as Marceline. Touches down for Alassane. And then it's knocked into Whitecap territory, past DK, and Janicki will touch back for Jay Nolly, who will clear first time right-footed. Nash brings it down. He had an effective and steady first half. He's been a consistent playoff performer, Martin Nash, although he would love to erase last year's championship series with Montreal off the record charts.
Yeah, but he has been consistent. He's been a steady player the whole of his career, Martin Nash. He's actually, I think he's got better with age. I think he's really matured as a player and very comfortable with both feet. Started off really as a winger, and then, you know, eventually he became a midfield player. I think that's been his best spot. A lot of experience, been overseas, played in England, and he played in Rochester, he's been to Montreal. He's been around a little bit, but he's always been a steady, good player you can depend on.
Goldthwait looking for DK, headed down nicely for the youngster Coffey. And then it's knocked forward. Well, I see Willis Forco still is on. So I got my substitutions mixed up. Forco is still on for the Whitecaps. I thought Ethan Gage was being brought on there. But in fact, that was the substitution, Goldthwait for Smith. The Whitecaps remain intact, no changes. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they like to say, as Phil Davies sends a ball down the near side channel, but it's too long for Arnaud. And while we have a moment here, Alan Arrington, we should acknowledge one member of the Shaw crew bringing us this game in the sound department. He's 80 years old. This will be one of his last games unless the Whitecaps advance. George Lamarquand is down there, and he's been helping us out all these years. There he is.
There he is, George.
Way to go, George.
What a quality guy he is. Great sense of humor.
And here's a strike by Phil Davies, as George tried to upstage the match here. As away goes Dunfield. Through ball as the Portland players on the deck. Martin Nash has a turn, has a left-footed strike, and a good save by Cronin. That was destined for the far corner. Terrific stop by the Portland goalkeeper.
And a good turn by Martin Nash, and that's the positions he needs to get into. Just sitting in deep behind the striker there. He can turn either foot, and he's turned on his left foot there, and he's labelled for the far post. And a good save was needed to make sure that went out for the corner.
Phil Davies not in any real hurry to get over and get this ball back in play in minute number 50. And Phil Davies has been central to the goals scored. It was DeMartin who was felled there a few moments ago. Davies right-footed. All the fans gathered in the south side. High swerving ball and some pushing and shoving in the box. And the foul goals against the Whitecaps.
Belisov always in the mix again. He's done well getting up there. I think he took a bit of a slip when he went for that one, and he finished up fouling on it. We might see that on the replay. The corners come in. Phil Davies again. It's a little bit high, that. It's a bit of a defender's ball for me. Luke has come in, and it's a bit of both actually. There's a bit of a wrestling match going on. But the referee giving it to the Portland Timbers, and they get the free kick.
And it's the Timbers in possession. Lopez with a right-footed ball. Janicki will nod it down. Following up is DeMartin, edge of the box, trying to cut inside on Knight. Little layoff for Al Hassan. Marceline then plays it square. Purdy steps inside, try to get to his right foot, and then Marceline will get possession for Steele. Stephen Keel, that is. Lopez, second half substitute, cuts inside on Wagner, who slips. Poor. Back to Stephen Keel, right-footed through ball. That's going to test the pace of the right winger, but it's off and out.
And really, poor ball played forward there. It's into no man's land, really. It's neither a ball wide or a ball through. It's just a hit and hope ball, really, hoping somebody getting the end of it.
And Purdy just couldn't catch up to it.
They've been a bit disappointing tonight in the attacking side, Portland. I expected a bit better from them. Playing with that lone strike, it's a lot for him to do, but I think he's probably been the most dangerous player up front, is DK.
Jay Nolly into midfield. Arnaud in the battle for that. Goldthwait with a strong header forward. Marceline with a flick back, and two Whitecaps were there, and one of them would have gotten there first. That would have been trouble 2v1. As up goes Knight, beaten in the air by DeMartin. Good turn by DK. Little through ball for Ryan Poor on his left foot. Closed down quickly. Plays it wide for Al Hassan. Trying to get outside. West Knight does. Left-footed ball into the box. Hammered away. Volley. Top of the area. Pushover. No foul. Up goes Nash. And now there is going to be a foul. As the referee tried to play advantage. And when he saw there wasn't one, he's called the foul on Martin Nash. And this is a terrific place for
Nash
a free kick.
Just talked himself into a yellow card there. He needs to keep his head here and not get himself booked where he's been booked. He needs to keep his head and make sure he doesn't get another one. But the referee's called. It was a foul. I think the first push in the back was a foul. I think he's let it go and looked to play the advantage. Here we see it there. I think it is it's a clumsy push. but it is a foul nonetheless. And I think he might have tried to play the advantage, but when it's not there, he's given the free kick. And I think Nash is incensed, saying he didn't foul him, but I think it might be a bit of a push.
Well, let's see if this has ramifications on the scoreboard right now, because it is a dangerous spot straight up the middle. The Whitecaps will construct a 6-man wall. Lopez is standing off of it along with Al Hassan, who would love to be involved in a goal after conceding the penalty in minute number 11. It's Lopez, right-footed strike. It took a touch. Or did it? No, it didn't.
It's a goal kick. You've really got to hit the target from there, and that's been the downfall tonight for Portland. Any set play they've had, they've really squandered it, because that you're looking at 19 yards out. You've got to get a strike on goal. You can't kick it over the bar. It's got to be on target. Make the goalkeeper work. Maybe get a knockback, a rebound, and tuck it away. But putting them over the bar, you have no chance.
So the Whitecaps get away with one there. Marceline for DeMartin. Nash going in, and another Whitecap foul. And DeMartin will try to get on with it. And that could be a yellow card there, and it is. Cody Arnaud, 2 yellow cards that were perhaps a little bit unnecessary in the last minute. And so Cody Arnaud goes into the referee's book.
Well, again, that's a silly yellow card, kicking the ball away and wasting time. The referee has to book you for that. I don't think he's any choice. He's certainly not looking for problems, a referee. You have no choice to book him there. And again, it's just a bit of lack of discipline and silliness getting a yellow card for that. There's no need for it.
So 1 for dissent and 1 for time wasting, as Martin Nash will thump a right-footed ball wide to Phil Davies. Good header down by Joy. DeMartin will switch play. Willis Forco with plenty of room.
I think the Whitecaps just need a little bit careful here and keep the discipline, keep their heads, and just have cool heads about them, because it might cost him down the road. They don't need anybody sent off tonight, that's for sure.
Knight inside for Nash, and he'll switch play again. Looking for Wagner, but that was cut out nicely by Purdy. And there's a steal by Coffey. Look out, sliding tackle from Keel, and Coffey goes down hard after Marceline went in, and no foul called there, and Coffey is hurt after Marceline went in. And now the referee stops play, but Gershon Coffey is rolling around in a heap after a collision with James Marceline, and the Whitecaps players were furious.
Well, let's see that one again if we get the chance, but the referee's close, didn't call a foul. It seems to think that the referee's got the ball. Look on the replay there, he goes in for the ball. I don't know if there's a lot in it really, but he might have caught him as he's going in. You see, I
thought that was worth
that was worse the foul, but the actual kick that's hurt him, I think he's got a bit of the ball on that one.
Play continues. The Whitecaps give it back to Steve Cronin as the temperature rises a little bit here at Swangard Stadium. Little flick through. Jay Nolly can't come for it, so it's slammed away by Janicki. Phil Davies up, beaten and in the air by his opposite 15, Joy. Hershon Coffey again involved, and this time Coffey gets the foul.
It's getting a little bit niggly now, a little bit of a high foot from Coffey there even after he was fouled, but he's got the free kick. And again, calm heads for the Whitecaps. They don't need anybody getting booked anymore. They need to just keep their heads and show the back up, not give any goals away tonight. They're in good stead going down to Portland.
Purdy let the ball run. Wagner almost stole in. Up goes Coffey, great header, but he went jumping into Al Hassan, and the Whitecaps bench furious with that decision, as it looked like he won a clean header. Keel and Al Hassan change passes, and a right-footed ball floated forward. A little bit more Route 1 football now from the Portland Timbers, and Nash tried to slip it through to Arnaud. Remember, the Whitecaps have Davide Cimiento on the bench that they'd love to bring in. He can also play in behind Arnaud. Coffey, great steal by Coffey on the break now. 3 Whitecaps going forward. An audacious chip by Coffey! Oh, and he almost found the far corner. And Steve Cronin was scrambling back for his life.
Well, Cronin was scrambling back there. I think he lost sight of his goal as well. It's a poor touch there. A great little pick-up. He's got his head up, he's seen it, and he's gone for the chip. And it just goes wide of the right-hand corner. And the goalkeeper might have got a hand on it, but I think it could have been labelled for the top corner.
He had the height exactly right. The width was just a little bit off, but would that have been a goal in minute 56? As the Whitecaps continue to lead by the 2 markers, first minute and 12th minute. Coffey and Nash. Marceline. Joy. And then DK with a spin, but there's West Knight to slam it into the chest of Marceline. Southsiders are really getting into it on our right. Martin Nash intervenes and knocks it in touch. Doesn't look like it's a complete sellout here tonight, but a lot of fans have wandered over to the south side to our right to be part of the singing and the noise and the smoke. Belisoma make that Janicki. Comes away with it. Little ball through for Dunfield. Tried to find Nash, but that's cut out by Al Hassan, who's again been a part of this game and been noticeable. Marceline. Lopez switches play for Purdy. And that return ball will find the feet of Willis Forco. And he'll just knock it into touch. These teams have met in the playoffs on 3 occasions as the ball is again knocked off for a Portland throw. Remember, in 07, the Whitecaps were 1-0 winners here on a Jason Jordan goal, went down to PGE Park and got blown out 3-0. And then last year, 2-1 here at Swangard for the men in white, 3-3 at PGE Park, and the Whitecaps were on to the final. And that was a tremendous game at PGE Park last year. The atmosphere was electric. And these two teams are building that terrific history as Davide Cumiento about to come in for Nash, and that's a good decision with Nash on a yellow card.
I think it's a very good decision. Martin's on a yellow card. You certainly don't want him getting sent off because you're going to need him for the second game. Cumiento's coming in. He's got enough legs on him to last the last 30 minutes, and he brings a bit something different to the game as well. He's going to be better at well, Nash is good at holding the ball, but I don't think you're going to lose too much bringing Cumiento in. But he's a very good player, a good move from Taylor Torderson.
And Cumiento will play in the same spot up front, just in behind Cody Arnault. Martin Nash getting a great ovation. Didn't see who he handed the armband off to, but Terry Dunfield would certainly be a candidate for me as the ball is back into Whitecap territory. Good first touch there by Davies. A through ball catches Arnault offside. And Portland will try to pick up the tempo a little bit here and make something happen. Pull a goal back. 2 goals down is not going to be easy. The Whitecaps have managed to get results at PGE Park over the last few seasons as Keel thumps it forward, but that's too heavy. And Jay Nolly, who's on a streak of 75 consecutive games. He's into Tino Lettieri territory. If you look all
that's
time.
going back a while. We met Tino when we played in Minnesota. We had him on at half time, and he's doing very well. Tino Lettieri, great goalkeeper. Him and his pallet, Aussie.
And another long distance effort by Davide Cumiento, his first touch really, and again Cronin had to scramble back, but that wasn't as dangerous as the coffee chip. As Goldthwaite plays it along the deck in nicely for DeMartin. Cumiento slipped, and DeMartin will go back to his goalkeeper. Oops. Davies closing down. Another long ball over the top, well headed by Belisoma, finds West Knight. Down the line for Davies, and that'll be a Whitecap throw.
Difficult ball there for Phil Davies to control. He opened up and fortunately get a touch off the defender and keep the throw in, but it was a tough ball from West Knight, that.
Cumiento comes short, Marceline all over him, but good job by the newly acquired Whitecap. The Whitecaps went to Switzerland to find a few players, including Alain Rochat, who will join the Whitecaps for their Major League Soccer season. He has an impressive resume. Down goes DK, and that's going to be a foul for Coffey. And Coffey could be looking at a booking here.
Yeah, he is. The referee's called it back. They're trying to take a quick free kick, Portland, and I'm sure Coffey might have been happy to let them have this quick free kick and not be booked. But he's been booked on the play. And again, the discipline's got to come into it here. You don't want anybody getting sent off. And he's really hardly touched him there, but he has got his hands all over him. And the referee's no other choice but to give the free kick. Quite correct again.
So Coffey will have to be careful here, as will Cody Arnault. And Taylor Torderson still with 4 swaps to make.
Yellow card caution, minute 61.
As Lopez floats one towards the backside of the penalty area. That's nodded away. Cumiento drifts over. Al Hassan sends it into the box. A little header backwards, forcing a touch from Jay Nolly, as Forco with a flick backwards brought the best out of his goalkeeper.
Well, the hardest one he's had to say has been off one of his own players, hasn't it? So it's a tough one to deal with that, but he's on his toes, Jay Nolly. He's done very well tonight. Concentration level's very good.
Lopez, outswinger, headed away by Janicki. Top of the box, Marceline, little touch inside, hammered away. As the showers again start falling here at Swangard Stadium. Arnaud with a good play forward. Can Cumiento get there first? Took a bounce. Al Hassan did well to shield himself. Little touch in from Cumiento, and then the play was called back. And the Whitecaps furious with that decision again.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me to take as well. I thought he did well getting his body in front there and just playing the ball across. But the referee obviously thinks he's maybe got a high foot there and given a free kick to Portland Timbers.
Al Hassan, right-footed ball. Again, he pings it forward. Coffey able to take it, turn. And you wonder and worry every time he goes to ground now on that yellow card. DeMartin. Lopez. Thought about having a go, and good charge down by Wagner to win the Whitecaps throw.
And he's actually passed the responsibility there instead of the ball, and here we have a result in here, Pete.
Montreal 2, Austin 0. And Puerto Rico doing it to Rochester as well, 0-0 in the other game. That's the first leg. Here, 2-0 Whitecaps. And is there a chance the Whitecaps and Montreal Impact could meet somewhere down the road again? We're a long way away from that. And Portland in possession right now.
That would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it?
There'd be some cards, I'd imagine. Always seems to be red cards against the Whitecaps as DK spins at the edge of the box, tries to get around the corner. Has it go? Well. Great save by Nolly. DK plowing into the Whitecap penalty area, and the Whitecaps escape there. We'll have to look back on that moment over the course of the series as Cumiento has it in a bit of room, turns, plays it into space, and that's just too far ahead of Wagner.
Well, that's fantastic play by DK to get past the Whitecaps defenders and get a shot on goal. Giannoli up for the challenge, but what a great play to get through. You see him here, great feel, look at him getting past, and really unlucky not to score. That's just good goalkeeping. That's why he's not scored the goal. He's done everything right, the striker, but the goalkeeper's been up for the task.
Went around Willis Forco a little easily as Janicki sends a right-footed ball into midfield. Cumiento couldn't get there, but Arnaud pushed over, and the Whitecaps will finally get a decision. The foul's heavily in favor of the home side as Cumiento plays in West Knight. Along the deck it goes. Arnaud slipped. That's a decent little ball through for Cumiento, though. Tried to get around Keel. Forco. Coffey. And Willis Forco asking a lot of Wagner, and then a giveaway there. And a through ball again into the channel looking for DK, but out comes Jay Nolly. And then a big push by DK. No foul given there. DK pushed his man right off the ball.
Well, that was a little of an incident there that was caused by Forco's poor play and not giving the ball away so simple. And here we see him coming through. Jay Nolly's coming for the ball. And it's just a bit of a clatter and everybody's involved in there, but it's just sloppy play to get that far back.
Davies now couldn't keep it in play, and the fans getting a little frustrated with that after Terry Dunfield had played in the young winger.
They've just lost a bit of the sharpness, the Whitecaps. They're a little bit more lethargic than what they were in the first half. They need to get back on track and be a bit sharper and a bit quicker in the decision making, pass the ball a little bit quicker, and keep Portland on the move there. And Portland, they need to get the ball up to DK up front because he is the main threat. He's the danger for them.
I could see Kyle Porter making his way on at right wing, and we could possibly see a swap for Willis Forco as well before the night's through. Zurab Siskaridze, of course, can play that position as Forco nods into midfield. Blake Wagner, who's been strong all night long, drew the penalty, of course, gave it away on that occasion. Purdy, right-footed ball drifting into space. There's Janicki to win the header. And Forco on the end of that comes inside for Bellisomo, who's been steady as a rock. And the Whitecaps do well to maintain possession as the rain falls a little bit more heavily now. Good header down up front by Arnaud. Cumiento defers for Dunfield. He's got Phil Davies wide. Let's see if Davies can keep it in now and get some service in. Davies. Dunfield wants it back. Davies goes for a run. Onto his left, top of the box. Maybe not the right decision as Cumiento was covered. And Al Hassan plays it through, and away goes Ryan Poor now off to the races. And he's charging forward into Whitecap territory. The leading goal scorer in USSFD2 goes for a tumble. The referee waves it off, and play continues. No damage done.
Well, looking for the penalty there, and he's down. The referee's right up with the play.
And Cody Arnaud is onside. Onside Cody Arnaud, who drifted into a spot. Goes to his left foot. Cody Arnaud, can he get to his right again? Arnaud, another move, and it's knocked away by Keel. And he'll cover and clear only as far though as Blake Wagner, as the Whitecaps can sense it. One more goal would really put the Timbers in trouble. Switch near side for West Knight.
Well, it's end-to-end stuff now, literally end-to-end stuff. You're going from one penalty area to the other penalty area and action on both sides.
DeMartin. Al Hassan. Little through ball to DK. Look at the room out wide for Lopez, but DK charges forward, has a long strike. And did it take a touch? It did not.
A bit ambitious, that one. He's obviously looking to try and get that on target, there's no doubt about that, but way over the bar, under pressure. But I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with DK tonight. He's battled away, he's been tireless, he's worked hard, and I think he's had a terrific game for Portland Timbers.
Sure getting a good look for next year, although on that last play, Rodrigo Lopez furious wide right. He was wide open in acres of space, and DK opted for a long-range effort. DeMartin heads down, 2 Whitecaps going after it. Al Hassan, Marceline, Joy asking a lot of the second half substitute Goldthwait, and back to the goalkeeper it goes. Goldthwait, who's been strong since coming on. A good steal by Cody Arnaud, but called for the foul, and Arnaud on a yellow card, so he has to keep his frustrations in check here, as we're in the 69th minute now, and Stephen Keel carrying forward. Lopez. And Bobby Lenarduzzi said it at halftime. Portland's going to have to push up and leave some gaps. Here's one. Cumiento, and then a play backwards, straight into the feet of Cronin. You expect we're going to see some chances. This game is stretched right now.
It is stretched. Both, if you look from the one back foot to the other, there's really a lot of space in between, so there's a lot of space for the midfield players to play as well. But again, I think Portland are obviously pushing. They want to try and get something out of this game here in Vancouver, and the Whitecaps try to take advantage of those gaps and push forward as well.
Wagner, through ball, Cumiento in behind, stays onside, keeps possession. Rolls it backwards for Willis Forco. Thought about hitting it first time left foot, then does float it into the box. Arnaud's there, let it run, and it's knotted away by Joy. Al Hassan will take over for the Timbers. On the deck for DK, good defending by Janicki as he sends it near side. Joy will let it bounce out, and Portland will have a throw-in.
Well, it's a case of hard work for the Whitecaps now. The harder the work, the easier it'll be for them. You know, if they take their foot off the gas, Portland's got all the players and the tools to come back and kick them in the pants. They've got to really be on the game and outwork Portland for the last 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, sorry.
Purdy, part of the FC Dallas organization that's had a terrific year in Major League Soccer. Out comes Jay Nolly. He'll smother this and maybe just drop the tempo a little bit for the moment. Tick some valuable, precious seconds off the clock. And he'll drop ball to ground now. You wonder if Tater Torderson's going to make some more changes. We mentioned Kyle Porter as one of the options. Little flick on all the way through to Cronin at the other end. And Portland has to be very careful, too, to not concede a third goal. It's almost like a 4-half game in these 2-leg total goal series. No away goals rule, though, as Knight takes it off his chest. And ran past Davies all the way through to Arnaud. Cumiento on the trot. Davide Cumiento wriggling away at the top of the box, tried to cut in between. And Blake Wagner looks like he's running out of gas a little bit at left midfield as Marceline finds Lopez.
Well, he's done a lot of running today, Blake Wagner. Terrific amount of work put in.
Crucial slip there by Knight, who's down and injured. Poor cuts inside, took a shot, and it deflected. And Ryan Poor will win a corner. Wes Knight, though, is in trouble on the deck as he took a funny slip on this ever-slickening
He's done
pitch.
his shoulder there. The way he's gone down, he's holding his shoulder. It looked an innocuous little slip there, nothing wrong, and he looks a bit in distress, doesn't he?
The Whitecaps could put Ethan Gage back there. They have Malouda Kloul as well on the sideline. He was hitting some thumping over-the-head bicycle kicks during halftime and entertaining the Southsiders.
Well, it's not a good sign when you see the stretcher coming on the field, and hopefully it's not too serious, but it looks like he might have popped his shoulder out as he's fell down, and it's a bit slick out there.
Yeah, he is in serious pain. You just heard him shriek there, and they tried to move him. And it looks like, and this would be really difficult for the Whitecaps, that his day is done, and especially because Ryan Poor plays left midfield. Wes Knight is the man he'd be taking on. And you're right, Alan, it looks like the shoulder, and he is in tremendous pain.
It's a very painful injury. I've not done that myself. I think I broke everything else but that, but the shoulder's very, very painful, and he may be done for the season with that.
Kyle Porter is up and running. The Portland Timbers have a corner kick, and let's see if this changes the momentum as the Whitecaps will carry on with 10 men. Taylor Torderson chatting with Colin Miller and Mike Salmon, as now Lopez in front of 5,018 watching West Knight go under the tunnel here, and Jay Nolly up to put some safe hands behind that ball. And Nolly sends it into the gap, and it's Cumiento. We'll have to watch that roll.
It looks like Ethan Gage is going to come on, and he'll slot into the full-back position.
It's not his regular spot, of course, Ethan Gage, but he has played some right back this season, and he'll have his work cut out for him with the number 23 to his right.
Number 8, West Knight.
You hate to see players get injured and coming off the field, but I always look at it as a chance for somebody else to come on and show themselves and give a good account of themselves and have a chance to get, nominated and picked in the first team again.
So 2 subs now for the Whitecaps. And Stephen Keel in possession for the Timbers. Minute 73, Whitecaps 2, Portland 0. It's been that way since the 12th minute. Long ball drifting in behind Forco. Poor trying to get on the end of that. And Poor will concede the throw. And they'll try to keep the Whitecaps hemmed in here. The smattering of Timbers Army faithful in that corner. Lopez, nice little ball through for Poor, then back out wide for Purdy. Thought about sending it right-footed, but he's going to take Forco on. Gets around the corner. Purdy does keep it in, or did he? No, the assistant referee was right on the goal line and indicates the goal kick. And now another substitution for the Timbers, as they're going to send in Ibad Muhammadu and throw another wrinkle up front for the Timbers, and they'll take off the number 18, who is Doug DeMartin.
Gavin Wilkinson tinkering with his lineup, trying to get something out of this game. It's not out of the question that they can get a goal here, and will give them a great lift going back into Portland. From the Whitecap side, they've got to be resilient at the back, not give anything away. If they can go in 2-0 up in Portland, they'll be well pleased with that, and it gives them a great chance to try and get a result down there.
And Muhammadu's first touch is straight into the Whitecap bench. Ethan Gage with the throw. Arnaud did well to shrug off one tackle, tries to get around Marceline, only as far as Dunfield, who hasn't been as prominent in this game.
I think in fairness, Peter, he's not been as prominent because he's playing in a deeper role, but he's just, for me, he's just quietly got about his business tonight, Terry Dunfield. He's not stood out and been a prominent figure, but he's done all the little neat and tidy work and all the doggy work at the back, and I think he's been a good performer tonight. I think he's put a shift in. And again, sometimes you don't get noticed for that, but he's done very well.
Another Energy Max substitution, and it will be Kyle Porter in for, well, is it Phil Davies? No, it's Cody Arnaud. So they're going to put Porter up front. Is that possible?
It'll be interesting to see where we're going to go. He might go up front there, or let's see how they line up, because really you need someone up front who can hold the ball a little bit and take the pressure off the players when it's played forward.
So Kyle Porter, a Whitecap residency grad who played in Germany with Energy Cottbus. And he will go straight up front and do some chasing. Portland in possession and win a throw.
I think the fresh legs is certainly a good idea from the coaching staff to get him on there. He's a very fit young lad, he's quick and all that. And Cody Arnaud has been working his way through his fitness, and maybe not good for 90 minutes. So it's a good move to get him on here.
Marceline just went right through the Whitecap player, Wagner.
And I think with Kyle Porter up front with his pace, Peter, I think they can look to maybe get in behind the Portland Timbers, and they've been playing a lot of stuff into feet to Cody Arnaud, and Cumiento has come on and gets ball into feet. But I think if they get it behind, I think they could catch him by surprise.
It was Cumiento who was felled there by Marceline. The Whitecaps have possession. There's Cumiento rolling it through, and Porter on the chase there, but Purdy has been stride for stride. He's been solid at the back for the Timbers, but the Whitecaps will get a deep throw in here with less than 15 minutes left in the first leg of this 2-game total goal series, which resumes Sunday evening on the University of Oregon campus, not at PGE Park, remember. And that will be a disadvantage to the Timbers as Porter tries to get to the outside, and it'll just be a goal kick.
Good defending, just seen him off the field there. Been fairly steady at the back there, the right fullback.
Cronin for Goldthwaite, wide for Joy, gave it away for Dunfield. Short for Davies. Down the line it goes, and they'll win a throw.
And just looking at Terry Dunfield, as you mentioned him before, Peter, he's not really been prominent in this game, but he's just sat in that holding position and cleaned things up, and he's part of the reason why they've not had as many chances tonight, Portland. They've not played through midfield as much because him and Coffey have worked hard and done all the grunt work in midfield. It's a bit of an unsung hero job, but they've done that tonight. They've worked very hard and kept Portland at bay.
And if his first half left-footed shot off the post had been 3 inches to the right, he would have been a little bit more prominent here. But you're right, it's not a role that is glamorous. As the Whitecaps drop off, and Steve Cronin sends a laser beam left-footed ball into Whitecap territory. Keel with Porter in tow. Tries to take it outside of the youngster, and you see a lot of players slipping and falling here. And the Whitecaps get a throw.
Going to be another foul there. The referee's caught him. He's a free kick to Vancouver. A little bit of a push on the side there. Harmless really, but certainly another set play, another chance for Vancouver to get the ball in the box. Cubiento pulled down on that occasion.
Luca Bellisomo is coming up for this set piece. He's managed to find the Whitecap the back of the opposite opponent's net on a couple of occasions. There's the ball whipped in, and there's Bellisomo. Great diving, brave goalkeeping from Steve Cronin, who got to the feet of Bellisomo. That was a terrific ball played in.
Great ball in from Cumiento. He's pinged it in there, and it's a little bit low as well. Difficult for the goalkeeper. It's not to the comfortable height for him. Luca Bellisomo coming in. He's every right to go for that ball, but the goalkeeper just coming, making a brave save to get it knocked away.
And the referee is going to go over and have a word with Willis Forco. He is getting booked for time wasting.
Wow.
So he too has to be a little bit careful now, and especially with late tackles. Coffey, who's on a yellow, plays it through. Porter with a good turn on Keel. Can he get around the corner on Keel? Left-footed ball played to the top of the box. Here's Cumiento, and a nice ball, and it's off the post again. A second chance, and that's blocked. Oh my goodness, Dunfield. He's had 2 off the post, and that could have...
I think that was Phil Davies, to be honest.
You're right,
it was Phil Davies. But I thought Cumiento passed the responsibility as well. He's got Davies wide open, but I thought Cumiento might have just plunked that one in, finished it off. He's passed it to Phil Davies. He's been a bit surprised. Let's have a look at it here. It's a great ball in from Porter. And it's actually Blake Wagner who I thought should have maybe had a shot. Passed it to Phil Davies, and he's really fluffed that one. It's got to be, he's not hit it well at all, has he? He'd love to get that one back again, but really it could have been 3 or 4 for the Whitecaps tonight with the chances they've had.
Well, when you look back on this game, there's 2 right there, 2 posts that will have some players tossing and turning tonight. And the Portland Timbers may be considering themselves very lucky that it is only 2 at the moment. As Davies tucks it inside for Coffey. Away goes Porter to his left, Cumiento to his right. Cumiento tries to stay on side as a long hit by Kofi drifts wide of the far post. There was a substitution there as well from Portland.
Not a lot of movement there from the 2 players in advance of Coffey there. He needed players to move and create some space again, but they've really just run in straight lines and not moved anybody. Makes a difficult decision for the young lad. He's finished up having a strike and goal, but a bit more movement, you can play people in, or you get a bit more space on the ball to have a shot.
So Tony McManus is in, as the Whitecaps again called for a foul. McManus is in, Marceline is out. And Tony McManus, a fan favorite in Portland. Part of the Atlanta Silverbacks organization for quite some time, but he's settled into the Timbers camp. And there are less than 10 minutes left in the opening leg of this 2-game series. Goal played off this one. A left-footed ball played into the feet of Joy. A long drifting ball into the channel. Out comes Jay Nolly, who gets it ahead of Ryan Poor. One thing I'm not going to miss about Major League Soccer, Alan, is 5 substitutions for each team. As much as it's good for youngsters and for fresh legs, it does disrupt the game a little bit.
Yeah, the substitution rule sometimes can be used as a tactic to kill the game. Often you make substitutions for that reason. But again, I think in the division it's in now, it's a good point to try and get more players involved and give them time on the game and, develop players.
Joy with the throw here in minute 82.
I think on the substitution point there, Peter, it's very rare now you see a game where the 11 that start the game finish the game. It used to be the norm even when substitutes were first introduced into the game in the, I think it was in the 70s, the late 70s, and now it's an automatic around 60 minutes you're going to get substitutions.
Again, Purdy in close contact there with Blake Wagner. Wagner this time the recipient of the foul. The Whitecaps will have Cumiento one more time trying to send a ball in here. Belisomo's up front, lots of pushing and shoving at the edge of the box. Drifted in, and now it's a foul on a push for Kiel. And how often do you see the defenders called for fouls in those tussles? And it's both players going at it, and yet you never ever see defenders getting called for fouls in those situations.
I think it's a Janicki up there on that one, and I think the referee might again got it right. I think he's gone in and pulled the guy down, but oh, that's a bit of a foul of his.
And no foul given as Nolly came for it. Has to retreat now against DK, and then a tackle from Forco wins Portland a corner.
Portland certainly pushing for the last little bit. It's about 7 minutes to go plus stoppage time, but another set play coming up, and we've seen 2 set plays today with 2 goals.
It's Lopez on the far side, right-footed out swinging ball, serves it up, it's loose in the box. Kiel is there. Great save by Nolly.
What a save.
A huge reaction save, and you'll look back on that moment and wonder if that's the difference in this series.
Well, I don't know if he knew too much about it, Jay Nolly. It was his perfect reflex save there, but what a save. That could have been the save of the game, definitely, but it's blasted right at him, at his face, and he's just got his hands up in time. And that really has kept the Whitecaps in it. You see the ball there. I thought he could have done better on that one, but what a good reaction save there, because that was labelled.
It was Goldthwait, I believe, who was up, as we have another substitution as Gavin Wilkinson is exhausting his bench. And I think he's holding his head from the collision with DK. There is a Portland player down on the field as well on the far side. It's Al Hassan, and he stayed down, and now Portland will make the substitution. Our Energy Max sub has Takayuki Suzuki coming into the match as Al Hassan remains down.
Well, Peter, you look at the Whitecaps tonight, and I always try and look at the team and look through the team man for man and see who's played well and who hasn't played well. And you try and name a player on the Whitecaps team tonight who has not played well, and that's the reason they're 2-0 up. They've had a good performance from all of the players, some better than others, by the way, but there's not been a player you can say, yeah, he's been poor tonight, he's been substandard. They've all lived up to the reputations, they've all done the job, and that's why they're 2-0 up. And as far as Portland goes, if you look at the Portland players, there has been a couple of positions where they've been a little bit, you know, not as good as they normally would be. So that's the difference, and it's 2-0. It could be 4-0 to the Whitecaps.
2 uprights, one by Dunfield and one by Davies. I had Dunfield hitting the upright on the second chance there, but it was Cumiento. I'll make that Wagner to Phil Davies, who hit the post. As play continues with Wagner. Little poke forward for Cumiento. Onto his right foot, did well, gets himself some space, drifts it in the box. Porter with a flick, and the flag is up for offside on Kyle Porter.
Shouldn't be offside there. You've got to drift yourself back out and always be onside. It just takes a sting out of the game. It lets the pressure off. Keep onside. You've always got a chance to score goals.
Can Portland get a goal in Vancouver as Coffey thumps it high into the Burnaby Knight? Wagner with a challenge on the far side, but Purdy, who's again been very impressive at right back for Portland, came up with it. Luca Belisomo will send it off and out.
And again, for the Whitecaps, it's a matter of being, you know, just patient and not diving in and just defending well. For Portland, they've really got to push to get something out of this, because I think if they do get a goal before the end of the game, it will lift them, get them in good spirits for the game back in Portland. But the game down there has the makings of an absolute classic. I think this series is not over by a long way.
No, and you know that even last year, Portland came flying out, and the momentum of that crowd. That's the one thing about not having that huge PGE Park crowd that may hurt them a little bit. It's more of an atmosphere like this. Just over 5,000 fans here today. They'll have over 6,000 on the University of Portland. And Muhammadu touches down for McManus. Purdy trying to get around his man Forco, and the Whitecaps end up with the throw-in.
Now, we're being a bit confusing tonight, Peter, and I'm not sure where the game is. Is it either at the University of Portland or the University of Oregon?
I believe
it's the
it's
University of Oregon. And it's a good little stadium, but 5,000 of the Portland fans there. It'll be a very loud crowd, a very vocal crowd, and a very supportive crowd. So it's got the makings of a cracking game down there. And I remember the days in the old NASL where we used to all go down and travel down there, and I think those days are going to be coming back, and it might even be this Sunday we'll get a good representation of the Whitecaps fans down in Portland.
The Southsiders are definitely organizing that trip as the ball is sent through and the foot race is on. It's Goldthwait stretching out his leg, and he just got it ahead of Cumiento, and then McManus gave it away in the middle of the park. Coffey, can the Whitecaps put a sucker punch and maybe even put an end to this in the late stages of the first leg as they drifted out wide for Davies? Davies on his right, overlapping run. Dunfield sets it across and wins the Whitecap corner.
And there's Teddy Dunfield in a nutshell. He's the last 2 or 3 minutes in the game, and he's busting his backside to get up the field and work hard. Terrific work rate from the young man. He's done really well tonight. You know, again, not being the most prominent player. He's not done a lot of great things because you've not seen him. Done all the grunt work, but look who's there when you need him pushing up front in the last few minutes. Terrific work, son.
I think it's a good substitution here. Blake Wagner, who's run his backside off too. Zurab Siskaridze, who could play left midfield and will head straight into the penalty area. A good header of the ball and good on set pieces. And remember, the Whitecaps opened scoring in minute 1 on a Phil Davies corner. Can they do it late with the smoke drifting into the penalty area? Back post ball, Siskaridze, and it's loose in the box, and it just ran past Porter, who looks to the sky. And the Whitecaps causing some problems on their set plays here tonight.
Well, what a substitution that would have been if he'd scored that one on the field in the first touch in the back of the net, but didn't quite catch it as well as he'd like to have done.
Dunfield with a little bit of a nudge there. McManus and Stephen Keel is heading straight forward into the Whitecaps penalty area. They'll try to make use of this, and the Whitecaps would hate to allow a goal at this stage. Lopez standing off of it.
Portland pushing a lot of players forward. They've got a lot of height in the box there.
Teasing ball, flicked through and all the way out for a goal kick, and another sigh of relief from the Whitecap faithful.
And a better free kick from Portland there, in past the defenders and giving them a chance to get on the end of it, but really not much of a threat in the end.
We will await Paul Ward and the board that tells us how much stoppage time will be added on here at the end of the second half, and I imagine there will be a couple because we had Wes Knight on the ground for quite some time, stretchered off. Not sure what the injury is. He was holding his shoulder, but we don't want to speculate. Goldthwait with a header into midfield. A good header by Coffey as the Whitecaps get possession back. Zurab Siskaridze, his teammates call him Z, and he spreads the ball wide for Porter. Cumiento's up, so is Siskaridze. Porter cuts inside, has a hit, and drifts it into the Southsiders for a goal kick.
Well, that's worth a try at this stage of the game. You know, he's come on, he's got fresh legs, he's cut in.
5 minutes.
5 minutes of extra time, or injury time, or time added on as they call it. And that's a lot of time to play. Still could be another goal in this yet.
And we mentioned how important a goal would be if there is one more. Now Cumiento on the trot. He's got Stephen Keel back, Porter ahead of him. Cumiento gets to the byline. Can he cut it back? Does. And it's knocked backwards and off for a corner. That could have gone anywhere.
Well, a corner kick it is. Cumiento deceiving there. He didn't look as if he had enough pace about him to get past. Just a little turn of pace there to get the ball in and causes problems.
It'll be Cumiento to take the corner from the far side. Fans clapping in unison, trying to drive the Whitecaps to one more goal. Into the box it goes, a little touch, and it'll be another corner. And the best thing for the Whitecaps is the ball is staying in the attacking third.
Well, I'm surprised they're not taking a short one here and trying to keep possession rather than get it in the box, because if the goalkeeper gets this, knocks it down the field, they could be in trouble. But everybody's back in for Portland. There's nobody else to play it into.
And Cronin
But again, here we go. The goalkeeper's got the ball. They've got repossession. I think they should be taking a short corner there.
1 minute of 5 played in added time. Left-footed ball higher than the roof of the stadium here. Past Belisomo, up goes Janicki, jumping there, and no foul. A chance at the edge of the box. Muhammadu turns, has a left-footed shot that's blocked. Davies will just knock it forward. Porter will be asked to chase, got a good head on it, and Stephen Keel will be there to touch backwards.
Short.
Left it short, out comes Cronin, left-footed ball. Thrills and spills here at Swangard Stadium as Coffey on a yellow card has to be careful, concedes the throw-in. the free kick, I should say. And then a push from behind, and Terry Dunfield
Settle down, boys, settle down.
Dunfield shouldn't be picking up that ball, but Lopez should not be pushing
Well,
him
again,
over.
I mean, time wasting is part of the game, whether you like it or not. They're trying to waste time there by picking the ball up and rolling it away. You're going to get booked. They should be wasting time by taking a short corner and getting the ball in the flanks and getting another corner out of it.
And the flag goes up, or was there a push by Suzuki? I believe so. So the Whitecaps will get possession back. We are into the second minute of time added. And Jay Nolly will not be in any great rush to get this ball downfield. Porter underneath it. Goldthwait with a good climb. He's been effective since coming on. Keel casually back to his goalkeeper. Swerving left-footed clearance will go straight in touch. And for that, Steve Cronin gets the raspberry. Amos McGee, Gavin Wilkinson's assistant, tries to get the ball back in play quickly. Ethan Gage with the throw. Into the head of Cumiento. Nice little touch by Davies, but there's a through ball, and now Cumiento, can he get in behind? Davide Cumiento off the right of his foot and into the south side.
Well, not the best finish there. You've got to go far post for that. At least you'll get a knock back. Somebody coming in the far side as well there, but he's gone for the near post there, and really it's a poor decision. It's got to be at the back post.
Hasn't had his striking boots on just yet since making his way into the Whitecaps squad. Davide Cumiento, as up goes Davies. Lopez, and off. And Gavin Wilkinson frustrated in his technical area.
Talk to Ryan.
He's losing his voice. That looked like a foul throw by Gage, and again it's knocked forward. Following up is Lopez. Pings it along the ground for Suzuki. Good turn. Leaves Coffey in the dust. And Suzuki gets to the outside, carries on his run. Good tackle by Coffey, but Suzuki carries on. Again, tries to get to the byline, and it's going to be a foul against the Japanese striker. And Ethan Gage will wisely leave it for his goalkeeper.
Yeah, get people pushed up, let your goalie take it. Takes a little bit more time as well. He's trying to get the referee there. The referee's saying hurry up. He's going to book him, but he's not careful. He's going to book him.
4.5 minutes of the 5 played. The Whitecaps with exactly what they wanted. Goals at home. None allowed as Porter flicks it through. Siscarite tries to get around Goldthwait and bundles the big defender over. The foul actually might have come earlier than that.
And Portland will push everybody forward. Goalkeeper should take this and get it forward. Everybody should be pushing forward to try and get something. No, it's further up the field.
Lopez. Right-footed ball thumped forward. Suzuki with a little flick. Muhammadu couldn't win it. Dunfield clears it. The Whitecaps have taken a 2-goal cushion to the second leg, Portland, on Sunday night. And the first leg of 2 is done. And at halftime of the series, it's the Whitecaps 2, Portland Timbers 0.
Well, I think the chances came early on. The first 15 minutes, 2 goals, a penalty and one off a corner. And it's seen them through for the game, but they could have had 2 more. And I think that's probably one of the best performances the Whitecaps have had all season. And again, if you're going to peak, you're best peaking at the right time at the playoffs, and they've done well tonight. But this game is not over yet. There's a big, big game to play in Portland on Sunday night, and it could be a tough one. It could go either way, but I think the Whitecaps have done themselves no harm by going in with a 2-0 lead going into the game, and great performance tonight.
Our thanks for you watching on FSN in Oregon tonight. Still to come, our Pacific Pilsner Man of the Match, some post-game highlights, and a wrap-up from Swangard Stadium, where the Southsiders are happy in the smoke right now, and the Whitecaps take a 2-0 cushion down to Oregon. More BMO Whitecaps playoff soccer coming up next on Shaw.
Well, back to Swangard with the Whitecaps have a 2-0 lead heading to Portland. How nice is it to have that?
It's great. I mean, we feel like we did our job. We played a great game. I think the whole 90 minutes we put in a great effort. And, you know, at home, that's what you want to do. You want to get a little cushion, but it's going to be definitely difficult down there. And we're hoping we can go down there and try and win down there and really really get some momentum going farther in the playoffs.
Team needed you a few times, particularly that save in the 83rd minute to take us through the plate.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know much about it. It was pretty close, and the guy just hammered it in my face. I just tried to stay as big as possible, and you know, I had a college coach when I was younger, said if I ever ducked out of a play, he would take me out of the game. So it's always something that's in the back of my head.
It was a very physical game. You yourself experienced it a little bit. As one of the more experienced players on this team, is this something you have to address to, keep your tempers under control?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've had problems in the past in the playoffs where we've gotten red cards, and that was something we stressed this year, was keep our tempers, because they're a very physical team, and we were trying to be physical with them as well. And you saw a lot of yellow cards, but some of them were a little iffy, and we just need to keep our heads because we don't want to lose any guys throughout the playoffs.
So what's the game plan as you go into Portland? You have the advantage of being at home. Do you want to protect, or do you also have to temper that with a bit of attack?
No, I think we need to play the same way we have. If you go out there and you try and protect a lead, you're going to play scared, and if they get one on you, then two, then three keep coming. So you got to really just go out and play your game, and hopefully if you get another goal, it puts them really on their heels. So that'll be our goal, is definitely go and try and score on them.
This team has been to the finals in 2 straight years with so much turnover. So yourself, Martin Nash, are you the players that have to take the lead a little bit with some of the more inexperienced players to this type of soccer?
Yeah, I mean, we're the guys that have kind of been around the organization here, but the guys that have come in, you know, they've embraced everything, and we're starting to feel like a good team right now, and it's coming together right at the right time. But we just need to keep it going. We need to get a good result in Portland, and then we'll see where it takes us.
Appreciate this. Go celebrate with your teammate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Keeper Jay Nolly with a clean sheet tonight. I've mentioned the Whitecaps will take that 2-0 lead down to Portland on Sundays. We send things back up to Peter now.
Jay Nolly, the Pacific Pilsner man of the match, wearing the armband at the end there as well, as we wrap up an eventful first leg from Swangard Stadium and have a look back with a little bit of help from BC Hydro Power Smart, as the Portland Timbers have some work to do. But they sure played a physical game, and there's the first collision with Nolly, and no foul given there.
Yeah, there's a few tackles all night, and some of the players will be a bit sore tomorrow morning, no doubt. They'll need a hot bath to try and alleviate some of the knocks and bruises they've had. But I think they'll all be ready by Sunday. They'll be up for the game.
Scoring was early. Kofi off the off the corner from Phil Davies, and then Nash after Blake Wagner was brought down to the penalty area, and he converted the PK in minute number 12. And look at the foul count. Almost double for the Whitecaps. They'll have to address that situation in the return leg on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that the discipline is going to be an issue, and the need to keep their heads. They don't want to have anybody sent off, and they're going to need 11 players on the field for Portland to get a result down there.
A few of those guys will be making the trip down. We thank you for watching. We'll wrap things up here from Swangard Stadium in just a moment as the Whitecaps cool down and prepare for a very hot encounter in leg number 2 on Sunday night. You've been watching BMO Whitecaps Playoff Soccer on Shaw.
So it is a Vantage Whitecaps 2-0 advantage. That is Sean Coffey, Martin Nash, both scoring. Whitecaps will carry that lead forward into the second leg, a game that goes Sunday, October 10th, 6 p.m. in Portland on campus at the University of Portland. As the Whitecaps playoff future remains undecided, so does the Shaw broadcast schedule. So for the time being, we will say goodbye from Swangard. On behalf of Peter Shad, Alan Arrington, producer Grant Wilkins, and our superb crew behind the scenes here at Shaw TV, and Kristen Reed, thanks for watching. Good night. Out from the first half, the rivalry is strong between Vancouver and Portland, and both of these teams looking forward to carrying that forward into the MLS next season, along with Seattle, make a nice trifecta along the Pacific Northwest. Much like Vancouver, Portland has been juggling the stress of this year's team with the preparations for the future. Before the game, we had a chance to speak to Timbers head coach Gavin Wilkinson, who is also the technical director at the MLS's Timbers.
Okay.
March 20th, 2009, a big day for this franchise. Has the time passed very quickly, as now you actually settle into the realization that MLS is just around the corner?
Definitely. I think there's been a lot of work that has been accomplished over the last 6-7 months, and while it is a long time ago, I think we remember every step. It's the last year that we have in Division 2, and it's been an important one, and we hope to continue. But again, this playoff series is going to be a difficult one against Vancouver, but MLS is just around the corner, and we're looking forward to it.
How is that balancing act for you right now as technical director of the MLS squad and to be in the midst of the playoffs right now?
It's been a lot of work, and I've had some great help in coaches such as Amos McGee, Adam Smith, John Spence we've brought on very, very early, and I think those have helped share the balance and the workload. I think we have prepared well for next year. I think Vancouver have done a great job. Tom Sohn has travelled halfway around the world in scouting players. We haven't quite done as much travel as him, but we're comfortable with the players that we have.
What has John Spencer's role been since you named him head coach? What have the steps been for him?
For him, it's been an evaluation process. One, getting him into Portland, getting him settled, making him feel like it's his home and for a long time to come as well. And for the players that we have on board, making sure they know that we're doing everything possible for those players to go to the next level. I think that the training, the intensity of training has definitely improved, and I think John has helped with that. And also the expectations of the players are that they want to go to the next level. Now they have to show why.
Vancouver fans are very familiar with how this roster has been interchanging as new players have been coming in through the evaluation process. Has it been much like that for you through this season?
I wouldn't say that we've been as bad as Vancouver. We don't have the same ability to shift players, I would say. But again, we have brought in many, many new faces. We've brought a lot of players in on trial. Again, with the ultimate goal of being next year, we just didn't want it to be to the sacrifice or the detriment of this year. So it hasn't been as much as Vancouver, but there has been a lot more movement than in previous years.
Vancouver has kept a very close eye on Seattle. Obviously, they've had remarkable success. What are the things that you've learned from their start?
I think the way they spent their budget, the allocated money that they had, I also think that the level of experience and new players that they brought into the league, I think they brought in some exciting new players. I also think that some of the players that they took from Division 2 with them, Sebastian Letou was one, Roger Levesque has been, I think, very good for Seattle, especially in Open Cup games. So again, it shows that the Division 2 player has a value in MLS, and again, you've just got to get the balance right.
We've seen how well the Timber Army travels.
Yeah.
They make their way up to Vancouver all the time. You think the fan base is already there and secured in Portland?
I think so. I think our last 3-4 games, we averaged 15,000 at home. We have had a couple of sold-out games. We had the Seattle Open Cup game, which was a tremendous atmosphere. And when you start to look at the number of fans that we travel with, it goes to show that we do have a phenomenal fan base. I would be very, very biased in saying they are the best in the country. And they're very loud and they're very enthusiastic, and they love their team. And they've supported the team and myself through thick and thin. So we do have a great fan base, and I think it sets the organization up for great things in the future.
Undoubtedly, they'll be starting for you the playoffs as well. Thank you for this, and good luck.
Thank you.
Of course, Timbers Army well represented here at Swangard. Up next, to look at the Vancouver MLS side of the story, we'll have Bob Lenarduzzi of BMO Vancouver Whitecaps Soccer on Shaw. Back at Swangard Stadium, where the president of the Vancouver Whitecaps, Bob Lenarduzzi, just watched his team get out to a 2-0 lead through that first half. Must have been nice to watch. It's a great start.
Excellent start, and what we need to do now is just keep doing what we're doing. What we don't want to do is start protecting the lead. We've got a team that's demoralized right now, and they'll only get in it if we let them back in it. And if the match finishes 2-0, then that'll be fine for us. And I think as the game goes on, they're going to take more risks, and there's probably more goals at the other end. So, but a very disciplined first half. But we also did that against them on Sunday here, or Saturday, and had a great first half. And in the second half, we let them back in it early on, and they made us pay. So we mustn't do that tonight.
We're a team that has been to the finals 2 straight seasons. Is there enough experience still on this squad that can help this group get there again?
Well, it's been an interesting year, and I actually would have conceded to Portland before the series started, and still do. They've had very few changes. They've brought in some additional players, and they're looking ahead to MLS. But we had 12 roster changes halfway through the year, and it's difficult from a tactical perspective, from a fitness perspective, and from a camaraderie perspective to mold the group together. But we've done a good job up to now, and tonight they look like the team that's been together for a long time. So hopefully we can maintain that through the second half.
Those roster changes, how helpful has it been? How easy are roster decisions going to be to make forward as you move towards MLS?
Well, what we tried to do was make some decisions on players that we didn't think were going to be good enough for next season, and at the same time, the players that we brought in look ahead to next year to at least feel like they had a chance to be on the roster for the MLS squad. And most of the players we brought in have all shown very well, and if they continue the form that they did in the first half here tonight, then they're going to make it difficult for the coaching staff to not have them in the squad for next year. So, as I said from the start of the season, this season has been an audition for the players, and the coaching staff have done a good job of managing the movement in and out and allowing us to be in and around first place most of the season. Unfortunately, we finished in second, but the key was to try to win a championship and also try to build a roster for next year, and I think we've achieved the latter. As far as winning the championship goes, we've got a ways to go, but certainly we've had a good start.
We asked this of Gavin Wilkinson as well. March of 2009 seems like a long time ago, but I'm sure the time has really flown by as you look at how close the MLS is right now. How prepared are you?
Well, I'd like to think we've done a good job of trying to, we established a plan early on, and we looked at what we wanted to do from a positional perspective and where we wanted to sign some key players and where we'll look to the expansion draft to add additional players. And neither Portland nor ourselves will know how well we've done until we start kicking a ball in anger in March of 2011.
It's going to be an exciting day for all. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
I know we're going to look back at that first half, that 2-0 first half we talked about, and send it back up to Peter and Alan.
BC Hydro Power Smart presents the first half highlights. Let's have a look at the goals, and the game clock hadn't even clicked over to 1 yet when Phil Davies whipped in this right-footed corner.
It's a flick on at the back post there. Dunfield gets a touch, and really the outside of the foot there from Coffey, and it's in the top corner.
Off a set piece again, it's Davies with the shot. Good touch by the goalkeeper, and here goes Blake Wagner, knocked over by Al Hassan. He's dejected after that. Martin Nash with the penalty. Good guess by Cronin.
It's a good guess and a good touch on it, but it's just too hard. It goes in there. Bit of a clumsy challenge, really, for the penalty, and I think he knew after he'd done it, he's messed up there. Jay Nolly really doing well to take the pressure off there and just come and collect that. Very clean, very confident, good goalkeeping.
Graphically, the province's first half scoring summary and stats. There you see it, first minute and 12th for Nash. As far as the stats go, Portland actually had more corners than the Whitecaps. Fouls heavily on the Whitecaps side, 12 to the Timbers 5. The second half kickoff is coming up next from Swangard Stadium. Can the Whitecaps build on that lead? Can Portland come back? Find out shortly. You're watching BMO Whitecaps Playoff Soccer on Shaw.